Okay, part two. Okay, I think we're up and... No, we're not. Oh my God. Are we there? I think so. Okay. All right. Okay. Lina Velena. Good afternoon. Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. Hello. How are we doing? I wish these companies would just leave things as they are. Mind you, I haven't been on StreamYards for a long, long time. But I was looking for the old format and couldn't find it. And I got lost. But there we go. Well, what's going on in Bangkok? Lena, I'm here and you're there. Bangkok, it's currently where I am anyway. Well, I'm in the aircon, but outside the doors, it's 39 degrees. Pretty hot. And the forecast for the weekend is 40, 41. I don't know what the temperature is wherever you guys are, but it's bloody hot. Actually, this is just a test of the StreamYard to see if I could do it. So it's not going to be long. For my birthday, I was given a cassette player. I know. Remember cassette players? Because a lot of my DJing back in the day on radio was recorded like we used to have to record every week and send the tapes to head office or whatever. And I've got a lot of the cassettes from then. So I could never play them because I haven't got a cassette player, but someone bought me one for my birthday. It's quite good. It's made in China, but it's fine. You put it into a USB into your laptop and then put your headphones on and you can listen. It's got a battery on it in it as well somewhere. Anyway, I was about to do that, but I thought I'd just test my StreamYard link, courtesy of Banana King, and I couldn't get on. Well, I could in the end, but it had all changed. So here we are, happy as can be. Aztec, yeah, more commonly known as a radio cassette. We used to have to record them straight from the desk in the studio, and they were recorded and sent back. Why they couldn't listen to it? Well, I guess then there wasn't internet, so they couldn't listen to it live, I guess. So anyway, yeah, for DJ checks and everything else. Anyway, I got a load of them back, and I was listening to a couple. I mean, forget about me and my presentation, but some of the adverts on there. I mean, we're talking 1987 Bangkok, so they have historical value. It's quite good, and some of the live reads. Don't forget to drop down to Soy 33 Copper Pan, a lovely bistro just opened where you can get breakfasts. And this is before pubs and all those in those days. It's really good. Enjoy Singer Gold light beer. That's when you can advertise alcohol on the radio. I'm okay, thank you, Mr. Nescafe. Yeah, still drinking plenty of you, mate. Well, not plenty in the morning, but I'm getting on fine. I hope you are as well. BZ, the hardest working, well, no, that's a statement, but one of the hardest working ladies that I know. I mean, she's like non-stop. So good day to you, BZ. Big up. Big up. Nothing like a little afternoon delight. Afternoon delight. What was that song called? Afternoon delight. I don't know. Whatever. I love you too, BZ, but don't tell Seven. I went to this house, not house in music, we're talking music, house music thing in outskirts of Bangkok. I was great. It was great. It was a friend of mine, so I stayed the night. Well, I couldn't have got home, to be honest. It was brilliant. It was great. It was a house, but it was like Chance House. I mean, there's, house music is, it's got so many genres these days. But it was sort of like trancey. It was nice. It was good. A few anthems came out as well, which was nice. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Very good. I enjoyed it. Oh, he won't mind. He's fond of you. I know. Sharing is caring, BZ. Starland Vocal Band, Afternoon Delight. As he gets it. He's my man, He's my man. Am I coming over clear? Because I haven't voice checked. I just wanted to check this StreamYards because someone said to me it's changed its format. And it did take half an hour for me to get this going. But I now know how to do it. Am I loud and clear? Because I just stuck my headphones in, to be honest. I haven't got Mr. Stephen Clark's lovely microphone wired up, mainly because I lost the cable. It took me a month to get the cable because it's sort of like a little bit oldie, and then I lost it. Oh, good. Oh, Az, why did you retract a message? Were you being rude and then thought seconds about it? And hey, guys, I've just come back from a 4-day holiday as well. I went to Go Chang. Now, if you don't know Thailand, I have no idea where it is. It took us 5 hours to drive there, but it was brilliant. And a ferry. It was great. It was like Paradise Island. So many little coves, beautiful beaches. I mean, no crap on them, no bags or anything. It was bottles. That was great. It was brilliant. It's lovely. Lovely. But apparently I went with a guy that's been going there for like over the last 20 years. He goes 2 or 3 times a year. And he said, it's never recovered from COVID. It's never got back into the swing of things. But I tell you what, I found a bar called the Ting Tong Bar, which is an infamous bar on there, apparently. Yeah, I know, BZ. There's been a lot of changes. My YouTube's been going berserk. I lost all my subscriptions, and they all did come back, in fairness. But I started going, oh my God! And so I went to then I had to try and remember the names of. I got like 150 subscriptions. I can't remember them all. Zounds went up first, and I subscribed. and it said, you've already subscribed. I said, well, it's not showing on my subscription list. Anyway, it all came back, but it's been behaving really, really peculiar. I don't know why, but there it is. My name's Harry. No, you wouldn't remember that one. Never mind. Well, I'm not going to hold this stream forever. Oh, yeah, I know. I reckon it's a global phenomenon. YouTube, I think they were just updating their stuff and trying to get everybody on premium, probably. I refuse. Unless they increase the amount of adverts and the times. I mean, who cares? 5 seconds and skip. That's all right. But, you know, to be honest, you know, people grumble about the adverts and that, but, you know, YouTube, I mean, how many channels have they got? You know, if you're into hammering nails into a piece of wood, you can search on YouTube and you'll have a channel and you can look at it and they'll tell you how to hammer a nail into it. It's brilliant. You can watch old TV stuff, new TV stuff. I mean, and they employ loads of people, so you know they got to make money. So I'm not against it. I just won't go premium yet. You know. I mean, if you go premium, then they have all the music and everything else. It becomes like Spotify, Apple Music, you know, and it's all. And I have Apple Music, so I don't, you know. So I'll 5 seconds skip. Who cares? You know, don't just chill out. But some of the adverts now are like 14 seconds, and they're showing some aspirins or something. I don't know. Probably they've triggered me out and retirement homes and pensions and things. I don't know, but I just whatever, you know. But if they start to increase it more, I'm going to have to go. It's really cheap in Thailand, to be honest. I don't know how much it is. It's like that's about £5 a month or something. I won't do it either. Yeah, busy. Well, you know, I know. Well, I don't really want all the other add-ons you get with it because I already subscribed to, you know, Spotify got free. It's family deal. Or Apple Music family deal. My son pays. So maybe, I don't know. And premium, yeah, you don't get the ads, but I don't want everything else they have, to be honest. You don't get better quality, do you? It's still the same. Although they reckon if you're premium and you have a YouTube channel, you get special privileges like recommendations and that. But I don't know. I'm just saying I've heard that. I don't know if that's true. If anyone wants to join, gosh, such a long time since I've done this. I don't even know how to do it anymore. How can you invite people? Oh, it says invite. I got it. If anybody wants to join, I mean, I'm not really, you know, it doesn't matter. It don't matter to me. Da, 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 da. How do you pin that? Pin. Oh, that's a good one. Back, forward, reload, save as, print, pass, no, that doesn't do it. How do you pin it? Quickly, please. Come on, mate. Don't let me down. I got put user in timeout. No, that's not the user. No. I nearly put Zounds in timeout then. Delete comment, put user in time. Ban user. No. How do you pin it? Well, now I've hidden it. Oh. Show. So how do you pin that? Do you star it? No, I don't think so. I did know, but you know, I'm getting old. Will you still love me? Will you still see me when I'm 64? Hello, Mr. Nielsen. How's your coffee shop? Oh, it's doing fine, mate. Yeah, it's fine. We stayed open during the Songkran period and did quite well as well. Although we let all the staff off, so we had to sort of go there ourselves and do stuff. But yeah, thank you for asking and thank you for remembering that. Yes, fine, mate. Yeah, I'm trying to open another one, but whatever. It is what it is. It is what it. How do we pin that? Come on, mate. We know how to do that. Oh, I've just tried to join myself now. That ain't working. Go to channel, report or block. No. Right click. No. There must be a way. Anyway, it's there. If anybody wanted to join. I'm quite happy being on my own, to be honest. I'm quite pleased I managed to get going live, to be honest. I just clicked on, the link I have on my computer to get onto live, and it was all different. It says upgrade, upgrade. No, we don't want to upgrade. We just want to go live. In the end, it's okay. Obviously. How do you pin something? Now that's really having a go at me now. I'm really annoyed. Yeah, there you go, Beezy. I know. Who's Daniel Berry Sports Highlights? The handle is familiar. Lena Vilena has deleted, retracted. Bit harsh. And how'd you get rid of that heart thing as well? That's annoying. Ridiculous. Who thought of that? Are you thinking about buying another shop for your son to manage? Well, I mean, it's not my shop. It's his shop anyway, Rick. But there's family involvement and investment in it. But the title's in his name. Yes, we're looking for another one, but there's so many coffee shops around. I don't know where you are, but they're everywhere here, from Amazon to Starbucks, obviously, but and lots of independent ones. It's just finding the right place, and with the one that we found down on Ceylon, a little square down on I don't know if you know Thailand, but Bangkok, but down near the river, and it was a lovely place to do it. So you got to find another. We've tried the big malls and for the traffic, it's good, but their rent is extortionate. So it's difficult to find, it's location, right? So it's difficult. Oh, somebody pinned it up for me. I have no idea who did that, but whoever did it, thank you, very glad. Mucho gracias. Kapkuma Krupp. Thank you very much. Don't think I did it. Little Miss Beezy. Yeah, we could write a song about Beezy or a rap. Yeah. Let me think. I can't think of anything that rhymes with Beezy, to be honest, other than breezy. That's too similar. Oh, I got it. It's easy. Oh, there we go. So here we are together with Beezy. It's all so simply easy. She gets what she does. We do what she does. She does what we do, and everything is easy. Ta-da! Failed. Never mind. Who cares? Just trying. Easy, easy. Oh, sleazy. Oh, no, we don't want to use that word. No, we can't say that. Everything is sleazy. Things are not sleazy. It could be easy. Although we count on Beezy. She's the lady in the fields. She ain't got no shields. She just sits on the computer when she ain't planting seeds for her yields. I don't know. It's coming. Oh, Mr. Perrin, my pen lie, you're welcome. Afternoon, Andy, and all in the chat. Mr. Perrin is the senior pool player in Pattaya at the moment. Unbeaten, so I've been told by him. Actually, Steve, I have a present for you. Because I used to make tips for the cues for pool. And it took me to the States 4 or 5 times on exhibitions and everything. And we did the merch, and we did some nice leather cases, for your cues. And I'm not going to give much away, but I got a present for you when you come and visit next time. Because I probably won't use it again. So, obviously you are a semi-pro pool player. But I'm not going to say anything. No, it's a surprise. But I have something special for you. Oh, he's back in. Oh, yes, you've gone. Yeah. Okay. We're going to meet up with Mr. Clark at some point, I think, Mr. Perrin. I think he's going to meet us on the tail end of his holiday, like when he's going back. So we should get something worked out there. If anyone wants to join the chat, you're more than not welcome. I'm quite happy just talking to the chat. No, I'm kidding. But nobody's going to join anyway. Mr. Lieutenant Nescafe. That's a great name. I'd love to know behind that handle why you call yourself that. But anyway, I have a present as well. Kindly take note of the mistletoe hung on the seat of my trousers. Naughty, 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 as we say in Thai, talung, which is a nice naughty. You know what I'm saying? Talung's one of the best Thai words I've ever, only know a few. Talung. It's like naughty. It's like being cheeky. You can say it to most people, and they're not going to take offense. You go, oh, talung. Oh, hello, Mr. Two with fries. Good morning, peeps. You're talking the lingo. You're sort of like single. I've been watching this documentary about rap and house music. Anyway, there we go. Peeps. I haven't heard that for ages. Home is. I know Steve Perrin and Lieutenant Nescafe, they always, whenever Perrin's doing a stream, he always comes on. Well, he comes on when Zounds are on, but he always has this sort of banter with Mr. Perrin. Steve Perrin, nobody cares about your walk down to this 7-Eleven for your daily yak yak with the shopkeep. Oh, really? See, grits. We don't have grits in UK. Grits. I've had some grits. It's like a messy, porridgey, grey, liquidy thing that you put on with your biscuits, right? Now, we have biscuits, but you call them cookies. So biscuits are like scones or scones. And I get really complicated. It gets really complicated. The grits. Yeah. Oh. Not sure. Not sure about that. I mean, are they seasoned? Do they have like a bit of garlic in them or some chili or something? Or are they just like cold porridge? Not cold, but I don't know. Grits. Not sure about grits. Leave in the comments. What are grits and do you like them? Beezy does. So they're bound to be okay. But they're like, you just slop them onto the plate, right? It's like, there they are. And it's just, I've had them once. Very bland, I thought, to be honest. Sorry, Beezy. Oh, okay. Beezy says that comes from an old TV show thing. Kiss my grits, spoken by a waitress. I do like American diners, I have to say. You know, I like their refills, coffee refills. That's really good. And a mug, not a little cup. You know, over easy. And, I don't know. Grits. No, I didn't go down the grit way, I have to say. True grit. There's other live streams on at the moment, I think. There's that Colin gentleman, and then the Mark, who has a bar in Padua. Be more on. And that's about it at the moment, I think. Oh, I've got to catch up with the chat. Andy, you've got a lot to learn. Oh, I've always got a lot to learn, Beezy. I have to say, you never stop learning. Anyway, carry on with what you said. Andy, you've got a lot to learn about grits. I guess I have. They can be very tasty when elevated. Spicy shrimp and grits are my... All right, yeah, I get it. I mean, if I was to say to you, Beezy, boiled rice. Yeah, no. But we have boiled rice and we put shrimp in and we put some chili and the sweet, sour and hot and the rest of it in there. And it's very tasty. That's like cow tom, what we call cow tom. So I get it. You got to elevate it. Yeah, I guess I had the unelevated. Really, it tasted like gruel. Do you know what gruel is? It's like in the older days in England, it was called gruel. It's like a sort of a watery porridge, I think. Mr. Perrin might put me right on that one because he knows all that oldie stuff. But I get the elevated. I mean, anything elevated. I mean, you take a piece of bread. If you ate a piece of bread just dry, unless it was sourdough, it's a little bit plain. But then, you know, put butter on it or toast it or fry it or put something on top of it. Then it's elevated. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Same with most carbs, to be honest. Potatoes, I mean, just eat a cooked potato. You got to have some butter on it or something in it or with something, you know. Gruel, I've heard of that. Heard it wasn't very tasty. Yeah, a bit like grits. It's cornmeal. The Italians call it polenta. Well, I know polenta. They feed it to invalids and the old timers without teeth. All right. So Grits has a lot going for it. All right. Because you have that busy. I'm not having a go, honestly. You have that cornbread as well. I'm not into that, to be honest. You have corn. They're the biscuits, aren't they? What do you call biscuits? Which we call biscuits is what you call cookies. Yeah, we said that before, right? All right. I get it. Gruel. I mean, the word gruel doesn't sound very inviting, does it? Let's see what people are doing around YouTube. Let's see if anyone's live. Let me have a look here. Just been watching a documentary about Jerry Rafferty. Do you remember Jerry Rafferty? Baker Street. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. He died liver failure. He did drink a lot, I have to say. Right. Let's have a look. Let's see what's going on. Anything live from Bangkok here? Oh, Mark about Patia. He's doing it. He's there. Let's have a quick see what he's doing. Oh, they're playing pool. Hope he doesn't want to be sharing. I'm sure he won't. I don't know how he gets away with copyright. Just in case. That's where Mr. Perrin was not so long ago, I think. Let me just drop a message to them.
Commando. Colin, it's illegal to go commando in Thailand. Fucking hell, Rob. As long as you're still with us, mate.
I just dropped him a message.
I think I put 5K on in about, well, yeah, what is it, a year and a half?
Yeah, it looked it, mate. The music was good as well. Lieutenant Nescafe, I reckon you're oldie, fashiony. In my part of the world, it is considered vulgar for women to play billiards. They should be there just to set up the balls, right? Well, Mark hasn't read my comment, but come on.
I think so, Ben. I can't know anything. Don't know what that means, Andy, but yeah, crack on, mate. One thing for sure, Cap.
I think Mark's new to this malarkey. Maybe I should drop our link on his channel. Oh, I'm not a. I ain't got a spanner, so I can't do nothing.
Hey, Martin, hello, pal.
There you go. A little trip down to Pattaya. No, Lieutenant Nescafe, he's definitely an oldie worldy gentleman. And did they normally retire to the drawing room? I haven't heard that expression, the drawing room, for a while. I know what you're on about. Billiards, cognac, cigars, and politics is really not their interest. Yeah, the ladies go off and sit in the wherever, and the gentlemen retire to smoke cigars, brandy, and talk about politics. Oh, dear me, that is so sexist. But true. What's B-More Ron doing? Let's have a look at him. He's probably fallen asleep. Is he still live? Nah. Oh, Lucy. Lucy's live. Here's a crack. Let's see what he's up to.
equipment, but the DJI Mic 2 doesn't work with the GoPro, but I ordered this other Bluetooth mic. See if that one works. Supposedly it does.
We'll talk about tech.
I'm trying to see what the wide angle looks like on my phone.
Nothing like a wide angle.
Usually don't get a good look till I get home, see it on my computer though.
I like Lucy.
Although I wonder if more people watch streams or YouTube on their phone than their desktop. Lieutenant Ness Cafe, get a headlamp. I actually got one. I think it would draw too much attention. It's Thursday night and it's dark. You don't want to draw too much attention. The shininess of this is already drawing attention. So I might stream for a bit tonight. I had a nap the Savo. Now I'm full of beans, so I need to go for a long walk. Won't be able to sleep tonight. So maybe 2-3 hours I'll go for, we'll see. A bit of the area is pretty dark though, so you might not be able to see shit for some time. There's a stretch of road that's not well lit. And I think the DJI cam is probably a bit better in low light compared to this, judging from my phone. Anyway, Luce says, "Oh, hello, Andy BKK. Just for a minute, relaying. Are you really streaming? That's my copyright, Andy BKK. How dare you? No, that's fine. I don't care." Luce says, "Getting restreamed, famous as fuck." It's fucking cold, man. 18 degrees. No, not quite Nescafe. No one never knows their luck or misfortune.
Well, there was a little look of Lucy. That's just copyright. Yeah, right. No, I didn't, Steve, either. I didn't get a notification for, so I had to just go down my subs and found him, and there wasn't a red dot on him. But when I went to his channel, I saw he was live. Yeah, I didn't get notification either.
She probably only would pick up if you've actually played.
Anyway, that's about it, really. Yeah, Steve, yeah, he's still under my subscriptions, and I just went down and clicked on his channel and then went to live, and he was live. I don't know why. It happens sometimes. I don't know. It's beyond me. Well, Luce is on 2 channels at the same time. He's on Luce's and ours as well. Ah, multitasking, Luce. You be the man. I get you, mate. I get you, Steve. I lost them all a couple of days ago. And I thought, oh, what's happened? I probably clicked on the wrong thing or whatever. But YouTube, I think they were just updating their shit, you know. I don't know. Whatever. They don't tell you, do they? They think they're all so together. It's like my bank went offline for about 48 hours. I mean, no transfers, no, couldn't do anything. I had to Google it and Google it quite deeply to find out the problem. You know, they have contacts with all of us. Why don't they just send a message? Sorry, we're do. We'll be back on do. Then you don't have to Google anything. You know, the info's there, and you go, okay, it's bad, but I'll get on with it. Nah, they don't care. They don't. Do the hell do they care? They've got you. You know, the thing is, these big platforms, you know, banking as well, of course, and many other different things, they've got you. They really have. I suppose I could take my dog for a walk or something and then talk about how things should be, where people are going wrong, and the way to lead your life. Not really down my alley, to be honest. Everybody can do what they want, you know, free speech is great. No, I'm Mr. Clark. I pinned it. Did I? How do I pin Stephen? Listen to me, please, mate. How do I pin it? Somebody pinned it up for me, and then it's not there anymore. You're talking about why is no one joining because I haven't put the link. I have put the link, but not pinned it. It's pinned. So why is nobody joining me then? Nobody wants to. I get that. Ah. Na 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 na. Pump up the volume. Listen to Colin the other day playing loads of music, and then over to Mark and Mark's bar playing loads of music. And I did say, be careful. And they were saying, no, we're not monetized, so it doesn't matter. Well, Zounds is not monetized, and we've been struck. I know if you play the video of the music, you're more likely to, but I don't know. I don't know anymore. Hello, who's that? Angeli. I've never seen Angeli spelled like that, but cool. Hello. Thumbs up to you as well. BC. Yeah, the bloody feminists. Hello, Steve. And Angeli, I don't know what you're saying. Well, you don't have to be a radio host, Steve. You can just join. Hello, Steve. Oh, hello. He's got his big lens out. We can't hear you, mate. We can't hear you. Check your mic. Can you hear us? Oh dear. Oh, pink hands. We like pink hands. Please join me. Where? And oh, let me do a deep dive on Angeli. Here we go. Here we go. Right, Angeli. Let's see. She got a channel. Go to channel. Right.
Okay. Okay. Is that it?
Oh yeah. There we go. Yeah.
I've been. You got when you put up links, Andy, you have to watch backstage.
I
Um,
normally get a beep beep when there's somebody backstage. I didn't get any of
There's
that.
the evidence there, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, it's coming on to 9 minutes, well, onto 10 minutes. Now, I was backstage 5 minutes before I decided to take evidence down. Okay? So, warning to anybody that clicks on that link, you can get yourself some sandwiches and a cup of tea because it's a long wait.
If anybody is asking who Angeli is, I've just done a dive on her channel. She's got 250 million, 523 subscribers. Anyone know who she is?
Good.
Angeli?
No, not really. No.
Okay. You weren't coming up backstage as far as I could see. I was watching it like a hawk.
No, I was backstage, Andy.
Okay. How do you pin things on here? Can you tell me?
You do it with a YouTube.
It's pinned now. You go to YouTube, yeah.
Steve probably did it for you, or Adrian.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you got the buttons. I don't know what sort of how big a general you are, but that might have changed now. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, I went to. It's the first time I've gone live for like 6 weeks or something. The whole interface changed. It took me ages to go live. All different things were coming up and upgrade and this and that. Yeah. But anyway, here we are.
All right. Let's have a look at this go to channel and we'll have a look at it.
So how's you doing? Angeli, yeah, I just I don't know who she is, but more than welcome here, of course. Please join me. Yeah, we'll put your link up.
She's a bit of an Indian.
Yeah, I think so. Put your link up, Angeli. No worries. So how's life up in the sticks, Steve?
Oh, good, mate. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I went to Shanghai last couple of days. It was great. Went to the bar with my mate and had a few drinky poos. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Shanghai's lovely.
Yeah.
It's hot up there, though, isn't it?
Talking to a guy who just came back from Russia. Very interesting. He was in Crimea, actually. Very interesting. Yeah.
You stayed like in
Yeah, well,
central Chiang Rai, or well, there's only central Chiang Rai, really, isn't it? Otherwise,
in central, mate. It's probably one of the better places in Thailand. I think, Andy. The roads are wide. There's not many tourists there, but it's quite a large city. And it will soon. It has an international airport, but it doesn't have an international airport. But they're going to put the international airport back and have direct flights out of Shanghai, so you don't have to check in your baggage if you're heading towards Australia or so forth.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've been there a few times. We can fly domestically, no problem. But yeah, it's a
lovely place.
It's like a small Chiang Mai, you know. But it's more rural.
I think it's actually the same size as Shanghai. I think. I wouldn't
really
sort of put me nuts on it. Yeah, it's quite big.
I mean, I haven't been there for a while, but
yeah,
I always thought it was like a smaller version. But you know, what do I know?
No, just have to check on the map. Look, the thing is with Shanghai and International Airport, it's got everything there. The roads are wide. There's not many, not overly a touristy place, but there are tourists there. I mean, there's plenty of bars you can go to in the city that just host for lunch and so forth. But it's a great city to visit. It's got all the big major hospitals and blah 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 blah, and the houses and the rent is really cheap. It's just astronomically cheap. See what happens. I know a lot of my friends are there, Andy. Yeah.
Is it who's Papa Jib's got a house up there? I think he told me once back in the day.
I don't know that guy.
Well, you know Papa Jib.
No, I don't know.
You don't know him from Adam.
No, I don't know.
I haven't heard from him for a while, to be honest. Okay.
Yeah.
Steve Perrin has just told me how to pin things up. Yeah, I did it. Yeah. I did it once, and then I remember you got to go YouTube over to Zounds and then up. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
On the three dots and pin comment to the top. Is that right, Steve? Something like that. I can't remember. I haven't done it in a couple of years.
So how long have you got left over here in the land of hot smileys?
No, about another month, Andy.
Oh, another month. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I hope to see you on your way back down, maybe, or whatever.
Of course you will. I'll make a special effort to come down and see you, Andy.
That'd be cool. You like Mexican food?
Sorry? Yes, apparently so. So the rumor goes. That'd be good. Like to see Steve as well. That'd be nice.
Yeah, so get a little get together. Jazzy, if he's here.
Yeah, I want to check out Jazzy's nose. Just want to touch it.
He's around as well, but
I don't want to squeeze it. Never make those squeaky noises. It's not. Is it real or what? Is it real?
Well, from what I saw, it's pretty. I didn't touch it.
You should touch it.
Ew.
Fucking Jazzy's nose arrives 5 minutes before he does.
Yeah, he doesn't mind. People taking a mickey out of it either. To be honest,
the thing is, mate, he can give it and he can take it. That's in my book, mate. That's a great guy.
Yeah, that's right.
He's taking a piss out of me before I'll give it back for him each, and he takes it like a gentleman. He's a good guy. one of my favourites on YouTube, mate.
Yeah, one of my favorites as
People
well.
will be
One
like
of my
that, Andy. I wish got other people to be like that.
Well,
Okay, you want to review video? How about we review the news videos? What about Patia? What is it called?
I've been to Mark's M&M bar this earlier on, and I went to. He's a friend of Colin. You know Colin?
Oh, okay. I don't know Colin very much. He knows me though. But
Yeah, I don't know.
I reckon Colin's a good guy from what I've seen. He seems to be a good guy. But he was a subscriber of mine and Kevin Thailand, and he's telling me all the old stories and stuff. He seems like a good guy.
Well, he's been
So,
around a long time. Been around a
he?
long time.
Yeah,
He just
yeah.
retired in Padua, got his own condo, and is
Yeah.
living, his life.
He was telling me things that happened sort of a lot of years ago.
Yeah. He did mention
Pretty funny.
in the chat. I've only chatted to him in his chat, and he's sort of
Yeah.
he's been around. Steve Perrin was saying he knows us all. He knows us all.
Yeah,
So, lurking, or I don't think he's gone on panels or stuff, but
I don't know. I think I've never run into him.
Yeah. Hey, there's a guy I want to catch up with. Mark Loveridge. Do you hear from him? He used to sort of.
No, not at all. Not at all, Andy. I don't talk to him at all now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you fall out, or it's just?
Yeah. I don't know why, but apparently, I don't know.
Oh,
I just don't know.
let's
Stopped
go down
talking.
that way.
He got on a panel once and attacked me. So whatever.
Really?
I've got no idea. I really mean that.
Mm.
But anyway, so be it. We were very good friends, actually. I thought we were, but anyway, never mind.
Well, I've seen people break up their friendship per se in this genre, and then a year later they're the best buddies, and then it seems to be a turnover of enemies and friends, and suddenly they're the best thing ever, and then they're not.
Yes.
It's a very fake
Yes.
space to be in, to be honest. I think. I mean, I'm not all the people I speak to. I generally think they like me and I like them, and that's cool. But people,
Randy, there's a couple of people I won't talk to, and I don't want to know them. I won't mention any names, but I had a fight with a very good friend about a year ago, and now I'm just not worried about water under the bridge. I mean, you can't. You have to go on a panel with half these guys you fight with, So you can be civil or whatever, or do you really need to never talk to them again and ban them? No, you just just avoid them. You don't have to do a hate session on them.
No, exactly. I mean, and that's what I do.
I know you do that. So do I.
To me a lot. It doesn't really happen to me a lot, but if it does, I just ignore because it's not worth thinking about. It really is not. This is such a small little genre. It's not worth thinking. You've worked in the media, with what you did in your past, and this is very, very small time. It's very small time, and not worth getting.
Andy, there's about 300, okay, mixed up all over the place. If you have a really good stream or live stream, you will get the 300. They will be real, but half of them are in bed, half of them are the other side of the world, and so you're usually averaging about 100 people buzzing around, on average. But if you got them all together, it'd be about 300, maybe even more. I suppose I don't know. But that's the way it is.
So in the grand scheme,
it was small, but it's not overly big.
Well, yeah, in the grand scheme of things of YouTube, it's pretty small. You know what I'm saying? And it's just people take it so seriously. I've met some good friends like yourself, Mr. Perrin, and Sean came here a few months ago, and nicest guy you could ever meet. The nicest, polite.
Yeah, I know he is. I'm very good friends with Sean.
Yeah,
I'm very good friends with Sean.
Jazzy's another one. Obviously Johnny Siam, and they're just like nice people that you almost feel like you've known them outside of YouTube when they come. You know what I mean? Like you haven't, because you've only met them through the channel, but when they come, it's like you've known them anyway. And you know, that's a
Yeah.
good gauge of what people are. And I
Yeah.
mean, Johnny was a fantastic guest, and so was Sean. Jazzy was brilliant, and you've been here, and you know, you're all great. You didn't stay that long, but yeah, I should have stayed longer, bro. I had a whole lot. I had a load of food prepared. You fucker.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
We're fucking drunk as fuck.
Yeah, I know you were.
What time did we get there? It was about 3 when we got there, wasn't it?
Do you know what about 2, 3? Do you know what was so funny was? I said to you, because I could see, yes, I think I have to get you back to the hotel, which is fine. You weren't like incapable, but I thought, and you went, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Well, I put you in you got in the car, and then I looked behind me, and Perry was behind me. I said, well, what are you doing there? I said, we're going to stay.
He was fucked as well.
My Tim was on the way, you know. And so I took you both back, and Perrin left his phone, so I came back and delivered that to you. But yeah, Ty Tim wanted to meet you too. It's both of you.
Yeah. He's good. I like Ty Tim. He's a good guy.
So maybe started drinking too early or whatever. You know, it is what it is. So. We'll do it differently next time. If you come for a couple of days, I have a little bit of a schedule for you. So nothing to do with it.
Yeah, no, mate. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to see one guy in Bangkok. Warren Gerdes. He's been a mate of mine for years. Others, you know.
I don't know the guy.
Yeah, he's good. He's not a bad guy. He's all right. Who else? Oh, Steve, of course. About it. That's all I really want to say at the moment.
Hello,
sort of. You know, yourself.
Hang on, Sal. What do you mean? How can I not mention Ty Tim? I just mentioned Ty Tim.
Yeah. That's been up there for about 10 minutes.
Oh, really? Yeah. Same. They come around. Yeah. Oh, and Ty Tim's. It took me ages to get together because he said, I'm staying at this hotel. It's like a 5-minute walk outside of Dong Mueang. Well, it wasn't, because I Googled it and it was miles away. And then he was staying at another hotel. Anyway, in the end, he found me and it was great. We had a great time. We get talking about music industry and stuff. So it could be boring to some people, but he's great. Yeah, he's a very lovely, lovely guy. He's coming here soon, I think. He said to me soon.
Yeah, he was telling me that. I can't remember what he said. Well, he said, he's a good guy.
It's trying to get everybody together at the same time because everyone has their own plan, you know. So he's coming over when he can. So, but he knows he's more than welcome here. He's a great guy. Yeah,
he is. Yes. Very nice person.
When you meet these people, when you meet these people, it's the only way you can judge them. You can't judge them through, maybe a panel. You can sort of get an idea of what somebody is about. In the chat, you have no idea, you know, who they are, or where, you know, whatever. But when you meet them eye to eye, sit down and you talk, you find most of them, you know, all the ones I've met are nice guys, you know, proud to call them a friend, you know.
Yeah. Well, the guys I've met on YouTube have been fine.
Yeah.
But I won't meet shitheads, though. If I think they're a shithead, I'm not going to meet them. No,
absolutely. Anybody that causes, you know, stink in the genre, I don't want to meet them.
We have to work together on these panels, you know, and for fuck's sake, try to get along. Have your arguments with them, but don't fucking, you know, go straight for the throat.
Yeah. Well, that's what
are you going to do about it? Next time I see you, won't have any fucking eyeballs left. Whatever.
I just wish there was a real sort of Thai genre, because I like talking about Thailand because it's what I know about, you know. So I feel about talking like you do as well, but you can't, because, you know, if I opened a channel, or you and I opened a channel, especially you and I opened a channel, Thailand genre, only Thailand, we get all our people coming over after, and then they got their enemies, and it just turns into another channel that's full of crap, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard to keep it clean.
Well, back in the back in the early days, Andy, there was probably wasn't 300. There was probably fucking 3,000. And you were getting really big numbers with the videos you put out and shit like that. And now look at it, it would be down to 300. People are just fucking pissed off with all the bullshit. And if you go around these live streams, it's just crap. It's absolute crap,
Yeah.
I think anyway.
Yeah.
That's why I don't
No.
got a lot of them anymore. Just like, I don't want to sit here and talk about other vloggers, and how bad they are. I'll talk about good things they do. Okay,
Yeah.
they might say something, no, I don't like that. But I don't rave on about it for 4 fucking days,
Yeah. Exactly. I don't. Yeah. Exactly.
So some of them have just got no fucking content, though, Andy. They've got no content.
I know.
And what do they do?
I know. Listen, I've got to disappear for 5 minutes. Sorry. Carry on. Go on.
All right. I'll show everybody what I've made of. All right.
Yeah.
Turn
Can
on the
you?
camera, hang on.
Now, no swearing or showing pornography, and I'll go for 5 minutes. Okay. All right then.
All right.
Sorry about that, mate. Don't want to drop you.
Now, that's what I was saying about my hemorrhoids. Yeah, I'll show you.
I'm leaving now.
Yeah. It's a damn shame. It's always been here, the nastiness on YouTube, but it's just out of control now. It's just very, very out of control. So I just could not be bothered getting them and going on about him and going on about him, and for fuck's sake, they go on for fucking hours about the same fucking thing. Seen this dance all before, Never mind. I'm sure they're happy. That's just not my cup of tea. I was kind of fucking boring, actually. Rather have a constructive conversation, sitting and bugging shit on people all the time. What do you think, girls and boys? But then again, some of them fucking love it. Now, if you're going to engage in it and want to get into the bantering and the nasty bantering, up to yourself, expect to get it back. And don't be a sore loser. A lot of sore losers out there, Jesus Christ. But when you see them arguing, it's really funny that they'll say after the big argument that they won the argument, and the other guy says he won the argument. Oh, yeah, whatever. But I watched DWP. He puts out the best of what's happening, so that's where I get all my info from. But I'm not really into it. Not really. Never have been. Better things to do in my life. That's what I think, anyway. Beezy. That's why I'm not around much anymore. It's gotten too toxic, and that's boring. Yeah, it has, Beezy. I'm really not into it, Yeah, I'd rather. A little joke here and there. I mean, heard what I said about Trevor. What he's calling me? Yeah, Trevor. He's actually a good friend of mine, but he'll attack me back. But it's all in good. It's all in good faith, Yeah. G'day, Yui. How you going, mate? Oh. Where did he say he was going? All right. Anyway, here we. Not as toxic as now it is, really. It's not as bad as it is now. It's bloody terrible, really. It's very hard to get an interesting stream when you're breezing around. Here you go, Yui. Anyway, whatever. I'm you're happy, eh? Okay. Anything you'd like to discuss? Yes. Like Steve parents pissed off somewhere? Yeah. Oh, well, never mind. Yui, me too. I unsubscribed because it was I was during the global days when it was probably pretty bad, and I used to watch what was happening, for defence reasons, because I was involved in global, and I used to watch little bits of it, or someone had sent me a link to it. And I've unsubscribed from all of it, Yui. I did it about a year ago too. I just unsubscribed from them. It's not worth watching. It's just, they get 16 people, 10 people watching, and it's all toxic. It's very toxic. But yeah, you see, I've had this conversation, not mentioning any names. That's the way to do it. But if you're going to engage them, the really nasty ones, I don't know who that is. You're going to get it back. So don't engage them. That's what I reckon. Anyway. I don't know. Yeah, it is. Look, I have watched it some, right? And they're going for it with each other. I think some of it is funny. I love watching. What's the bitch's name? His fucking name, I think. Swedish guy. JG. He's a good friend of mine. I don't know if you know that. And I love watching him. He just some of that is funny, but then they get a little bit too toxic and nasty, and I just switch it off. JG's funny. Got to give him that. But I've had fights with JG, but we've never been enemies. I'll talk to him the next day, or email me, and I'll whatever message back. But I will not turn on JG anyway. I don't think he'll ever turn on me. We are good friends, but we've got to work together on these streams, and they can be fun. But look at Johnny's Wednesday night thing, trivia. I mean, it's a bit of a laugh, and then you have a discussion after it. And I don't think Johnny really talks about other vloggers too much. He does it a little bit, but not to the extreme that it becomes boring. Yeah. Oh, never mind. But there's a couple of these people on. There's a couple of people on here that they're not to be on here on YouTube. What can you do? Yeah, that's why I don't do it anymore. I didn't mind having the keys on. I had the keys to the global because I could go on. If I got bored, I'd go and start a stream up and shit. But doesn't interest me anymore, like that sort of thing. Find other things to do. Yes, that's right. You've got the platform. It's it's people on the other channels that are mentioning them and feeding them. Yeah. If you stop feeding them, they'll dry up like dog shit on the lawn and blow away in the wind. I think of someone. Jesus Christ. This doxing shit. Jesus. You gotta be kidding, haven't you? You're doxing. You don't dox people, especially people on these things. I know where you live now because you were doxed. I'll go around and stab you and your family. Because there are some fucking nutters out there. Believe me. That's always been the thing with this doxing shit. Man, they just don't give a fuck. I could say that to them, and they'll just dox you the next day. Don't give a fuck. Yeah, a lot of shit out there. And the weird thing is they've been fighting about the same bullshit for years. That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're the only DWP. You're the only channel I watch. I don't know. If I want to catch up with it, I just watch DWP. Drop your link down there, DWP, if you can. Yeah. So he watches it for us. Picks out all the juicy bits. Yeah, it's a bunch of funny ones on there.
I'm back now. I'm so sorry, mate. That was very rude
Right.
of me to invite you on and then leave you.
I was upset, yeah.
if anybody I can leave to lead a panel, it's you. So you're much better than I am. I can't talk for more than about 5 minutes.
Think so? All right. What, do you lose concentration? What is it?
I ignore people backstage.
Is anybody backstage?
No.
Oh,
Well, hang on. Let me check.
Yeah.
There used to be a notification sound saying you used to go.
You got to turn it. Tell them to turn it on. You get a little sound come up.
I've got
I've
got all the settings here, but anyway, for another time. Is it still pinned? No, see, it's not pinned anymore. Let me do it. Let me learn.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, you do it.
You're never too old to learn, right?
No.
DWPs, hello DWP. You've sent a link here. I'm not going to press that, but not yet.
You've got to put a link up, Annie.
Cool, man. Hang on a second. All right. So now I've copied it into YouTube, right? It's there now, and now I go over to Zounds and I can pin it. Is that correct?
No. The 3 dots. Oh, you used. Hang on a minute. Let me see.
3 dots says.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
You used to use the 3 dots at the I can't get that. Fucking.
Oh, I tell you what.
Things come up.
On YouTube,
yeah, on YouTube, the 3 dots and pin to the pin comment. It says pin comment.
Yeah, I'm not on
Zounds. I don't know.
I'm not on Zounds on my YouTube. That's the thing. Okay.
Maybe one of your generals will have to do it for your higher up, your superiors.
There's no superiors,
isn't there? All right.
Actually, my maid, my Myanmar maid has gone back up to Myanmar. To become a nun for a month, but I've just got a headline from the news from Al Jazeera. There's like a big load of fighting going on the border at the moment. Yeah, right where she is.
My friend over there, she just lost her brother to the fighting.
Oh man, that's where my maid's gone.
Yeah. Now her daughter and husband walking down the street. This is quite a few years ago, and they wanted to recruit him, so they grabbed him off the fucking streets, Andy, and put him into the military.
Yeah.
He's got a daughter, and he was, he had. Oh, he was going. The business was okay. They were making them pay for their food and shit, and all of a sudden nothing. So they've just gone over to Thailand. Their mother got them across there. But the husband's still in Burma fighting for the government.
Really?
Yeah. You got no choice, mate. You either pull that trigger, they'll pull a trigger at you. That's the way it is in Burmese military now. They're just grabbing people off the streets. They've been doing it all along, actually.
She's been with us for like 20 years or so, and well, she's gone back to become a nun. She's quite religious. I mean, she's coming back, hopefully. Yeah, it's just sad that all that stuff's going on, and she's the loveliest person you could wish to meet.
Yeah, look, before all this shit happened, or the revolution, whatever you want to call it, I really thought Burma, was going to be bigger than Thailand with the tourist business, because there's so much they've got to offer in that country, and it's just all those. You know about the temples or whatever they call it, in the middle of Burma. Jesus, fucking thousands of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit. My wife, when she was growing up, she lived in Burma for 3 or 4 years because her dad was a military attaché, naval attaché to there. So she lived for 3 or 4 years. But that's back when it was Burma, and there was none of this. Well, there might have been, but it wasn't evident with what she says of what it's like now. It's really like. Well, I don't know what they're doing there. I mean, I understand what they're doing there, but it's all about the government, and people are against the military government, right? I guess, or is that?
I don't know, Eddie. I think the Chinese have got a lot to do with a lot of things over there.
Really?
What? Who
Or
knows?
like investment, or
Yeah, and probably investment in one side or the other. Maybe they might be supplying both sides. Who knows?
wow.
Winner takes all. China.
Well, yeah. I mean, you and China. Ever since I've known you, you've always been going on about China.
Just amazes me. You know, you look at World War II, Andy, and the way we sent all the metal, or Australia sent the metal over there for them to send back in bombs. You know, and now they're doing the same with China. There's foreign China doing it. Why are they building up their military to that size?
Well,
Joke, mate.
I
History
don't know.
never repeats, does it?
Well, I
Anyway.
mean, well, I have no idea. I do know that Chinese products are much not superior, but much better than they were 20 years ago. Like they were just
Yes, they
knock
are,
off badly. But there's a lot of good stuff coming out of there that is
well,
as good, if not better, than a lot of the stuff coming
everything's
out.
coming out of there now, Andy. And a lot of companies have pulled out of China. They're going for all Thailand and Vietnam and India. I guess gradually they'll bring the Philippines into it. So they're going to spread it all over the world, not relying on one country to supply everything. And China's shot itself in the foot, really. Yeah. They've got border disputes all around them.
Sorry. Again, explain that. Why have they shot themselves in the foot? I thought they're doing sort of like, I don't agree with what they're doing, but it seems to be working for them.
No, look, you don't know with China what's truth and what's not true. They reckon their economy's all right, but you read the Western view version of it, they're just about to collapse. You know, so who knows what? It's yeah, they reckon China's fucked. They're on record high unemployment. You know, they had that one child policy. Everybody's old in China now. They've got no younger generation coming up. There's all sorts of wicked little problems over there. G'day, Irish radar. Yeah.
Hello, Yui.
Never mind.
Hello, my friend. Yui. I mean, Yui knows a lot of stuff. Says the Chinese learned it the hard way that you make way more money with good stuff than with crap. Yeah, I mean,
yes.
All right, they're still trying to do their version of the Rolls Royce, and you know, I've seen people, review it, and it's nowhere near what a Rolls Royce is. But then again, there's not many cars in the world that are near what the Rolls Royce is. But especially like the computer stuff, their phone technology, you know, all that IT, they're pretty good. But they have Westerners working for them, right? I mean, even in their new car.
Well, Andy, the whole thing was, you know, iPhone went over there, so now they know how to make an iPhone, so they make their own copy of it, not a direct copy, but very similar to the iPhone, which is probably one of their phones. But when I was dealing with China, I used to bring in container loads full of hats, right? Would you believe?
The what? What?
You'd have to work hats, like on the head hats, and you had to work on 20% rejection, like they were fucked. Right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
This is going back about 15, 20 years ago. Now they've improved. Yeah, well, what are you saying? Right, they've learnt that quality is better than quantity. But it was just look. One time I ordered, I don't know, $10,000-$20,000 worth of airbrushes for airbrushing, and they just didn't arrive, and the company went broke. And then I found them open up with a different name. Where's my stuff? Oh, Jesus Christ. There was all sort of frightening when you first started dealing with China, but I think things will improve now. You've got Al Jazeera, which is that's pretty good. But in the early days, it was very hard.
But here's the thing. This is my take, and I could be totally wrong. Hang on, my headphones are falling out. Oh, there we go. Hello.
Hi.
It's all down to countries like Thailand, Vietnam, whatever, China. Is the labor costs are so cheap, they can afford to manufacture things a lot cheaper than the West. Okay, but they need that. What's the word? That talent and knowledge to do it properly. Well, in the past, they didn't care about that. They said, "Oh, we can do a motherboard," and they had their engineers doing it, but they were only educated to a certain quality. But now,
Re-engineering.
they're getting people now, exactly, but they're getting people now from the West to design cars that have designed, from Italy. They design good cars, and
Exactly
they
right.
get the money because they have, as Yui said, they've decided that now let's go for some quality apart from quantity. And the thing is, they're
Yep.
still making quantity because they got the cheap labor. So the actual manual labor.
Yeah, but they've lost a lot of major contracts, which would probably be Samsung, I think, is pulled out. Apple's pulling out, and I don't think they've taken it all out. Lenovo's pulled out, which is IBM, I guess, if you want to. Some of the big companies, what was that? Some of the companies pulled out. But on the other hand, Tesla's there to stay. Tesla loves China, Elon Musk.
Well, and also what China have done is they've created brands now that are worldwide accepted. Your TV is Hisense. My TV is Hisense, Chinese, and it's a recognized brand now. You know what I mean? You go to department stores, you get Samsung, LG, or whatever.
Yeah.
Hisense is there, and it's like rated now amongst the top 5 of the best, only because they've employed people from the West to make sure that the quality is fine, and they can take care of the quantity because of their labor charges.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. Anyway, I might be wrong.
Exactly what happened. Back in the early days, they paid people to go over there, and companies came into their country, and they showed them how to do things, which they pick up very easily. And you look at America, 380 million, I think. The China's got 1.5 billion. They've got 5 times more geniuses than the Americans have got. So they're going to find it fucking hard.
I mean, it's like even like the fake watches, the fake Rolex or whatever. In Thailand, you get grade 1, 2, and 3. Grade 1,
that's right.
It will break down on the plane home. Grade 2 maybe last you a year or so, and the enamel starts coming off and everything else. The grade 3, which would cost you for a fake Rolex here now for grade 3, will cost you around about 4,000 or 5,000 baht. But it's got a Seiko inside and and it will last you for a long time. So I think they're more concentrating now on quality, because but the thing is, Chinese can't export to, I don't know which countries they can export to. They can't export to America, right? Chinese, you can't buy Chinese products in America.
No, you could buy a Gibson guitar from China in America. They just changed the name of the fucking thing, which is a complete copy.
Well, I mean,
a lot of the Epiphone. The Beatles used to play the Epiphone guitars, right? Do you know they're made in China now? Yeah.
You see, well, as you said, that we mustn't forget that we sold them the techniques and the knowledge too, which is true. We didn't
sell them. We didn't sell them the technology; they took it.
Yeah, but they also employed people from the West that came for the money. Money. Right. You designed that new car. We want that Western look on our cars because they were horrible Chinese cars in the past. Now they're all the BYDs or whatever they're called. They're all from China, and they're looking. They can go along with the Volvo EV or the BMW. You know what I'm saying? They are now up there. I'm not supporting them, but in the old days, do you remember when you were a young boy, if your memory goes back that far, mate? Mine does. We used to get taught something, and if it was said made in Hong Kong, people used to trash it. They go, "I was made in Hong Kong."
That's right.
Hong Kong was
first it was Japan, made in Japan, no good. Made in Japan, no good. Then it was Japan, fantastic, and then it was Taiwan, and then it was Hong Kong, and
Taiwan. My point. So now, made in China. To be honest, it's not a negative. If I look at a product to buy and it says made in China, I don't immediately not buy it. Do you understand what I mean? I think
I will pay the extra baht and I'll pay the extra baht to get something that's not made in China.
Yeah, you see, that's where you
I
and I
don't,
differ.
I don't think China is quite there yet. They do produce rubbish. They really do.
Well, I mean, I bought a pair
Technically.
of. All right, let's just take it simple. I got a pair of earbuds from Shopee. All right, made in China, Bluetooth earbuds. I've had them now for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
I've never let me down. They've never broken. They are just like they could be, made from iPhone, Apple or whatever.
Copy.
They could have been. I'm not sure about the quality, but the quality is good enough for me. It's pretty good. So that's all I'm judging things by, and the price. Of course, I'm price oriented. If I was a multimillionaire, I probably wouldn't buy things from China. I'd rather have them. Well, which country do you trust for manufacturing? Let's face it. England has a bad reputation about their manufacturing. That it lets them down. Germany maybe. I don't know. Germany are pretty good at manufacturing stuff, but you understand what I mean. It's like you can't now just say China are making inferior products. You cannot say that. Whereas before you could. They'll last you a year if you're lucky. Now, no. They've entered this world arena and they're standing up to it, through, as Yui said, they're getting technology from the West and the engineers to do it. They're paying them to come over on vast sums of money. But they are now concentrating more on quantity, of course, but quality, I think, has gone.
And they are stealing more than they're buying. They really are. They're stealing a lot of technology.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh no, they're stealing a hell of a lot of technology.
But as a buyer in the market, if I see something 50% cheaper for the same quality, what would you do? Unless, as I say,
if you could touch the subject and have a look at it, it's fine. I mean, you've got to really think about it, don't you? Sometimes it's half the price. Sometimes it's a little bit more cheaper. Just part and parcel of the whole thing. I imagine I do.
Well, yeah, I mean, going back to my iPods, the ones I had before I bought these ones, they lasted 2 months, and they just no good. They weren't any
Probably
good.
made in China.
So it's a little bit of a how do you say lucky dip of what if you buy things through Shopee or whatever.
See, you have the advantage of being in Bangkok. You can usually go and look at a product before you buy it. With us, in Australia or England or America, we can't see the product, so we only see it when it arrives. And believe me, and some of the products I've bought have been absolutely fucking garbage. They really have. And some of them have been very good. Some of them are better than what the West makes. But it's just, it's a lucky dip, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
I do prefer to buy, I do. Look, let's look at a guitar string. My friend up there in Shanghai is getting guitar strings, and they last about 1 week, and they're absolutely stuffed because he can't get the American product strings, right? The expensive ones, and he buys them, and they're made in fucking China. They're copies. They're just Chinese metal is the worst in the world. And it's all that. So he's got to order from America on actual United States, pay the poaching them to get them across and know that he's buying a good product. And this is a lot of things with the Chinese copies. Yeah, they do copy them, but they only look like they're copying. But the inside is just not very nice.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. I mean, you get watches from China. I'm talking about back in the day, and I don't know about watches. I'm not a watch guy.
No, I don't.
But I'm looking at their automobile situation with the EVs, especially, and they are coming up to the mark. They're cheaper.
Yes.
And they're obviously designed by Westerners. It's not their technology, but it's down to they can produce these things cheaper because of labor. It's all that people used to do, shoes, leather goods in Thailand. I knew one person in the shoe business here. He moved to Vietnam because he said the labor costs were too high for my profit margin. So he moved to Vietnam. His whole manufacturing process And he was a big
Mm.
guy in the shoe industry. Furniture was another guy, moved from Thailand, because Thailand now is labor. Well, I mean, relatively speaking, it's a lot more expensive to employ people now, which is a good thing than it was before. 40 years ago, it was cheap as chips. You know what I mean? You could employ someone for $100 a day. You know, now there's laws you can't do it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's why immigrant labor here. You know.
Yeah. And then there's another thing, Andy, which we'll move away from that, is the South China Sea. They're claiming all of the South China Sea. It's not theirs. But who's going to stop them? You know,
Well,
all that sort of
who's
stuff.
brave enough or is worried about consequences in stopping them? Yeah, agreed. Absolutely.
And the only one that couldn't even stand up to them is the Americans. And, you know, they have a go, why did you pull out of Afghanistan after 20 years? And blah, blah. They pulled out of Afghanistan because of the Chinese threat. They want all their army amalgamated in one spot, waiting for the Chinese to do their thing. I don't know if there'll ever be a conflict, Andy, but they reckon it's going to be. I don't think so. They've got too much to lose. I mean, America depends heavily on Chinese products, and the Chinese rely heavily on the Americans.
But I thought there was a trade embargo on countries.
Well, with us, it was the iron ore. We supplied all their iron ore, and they would melt it down and added things to it, and it was very bad metal. It turned out to finish. So they said, oh, fuck you, we'll get it from Argentina. It would have cost them really twice the price to get it from Argentina, right?
Well,
and they just waited. The Chinese sort of brought it all back, and no worry, it's okay. And you know, a lot of it. There was the lobster thing. They left a shipload of lobsters on the airport tarmac, and they all went rotten, of course. Now, but there was you couldn't buy lobster in China. But now they're all coming back, and wine. Everybody loved the wine. Australian wine was it, and they weren't importing any of the wine, and the Chinese people wanted their wine back, their Australian wine. And it's all gone back to normal, I think, now. But,
well, Yui's throwing into this debate. Yui says that everybody thinks China are bad guys. They are a part of the system as every other country, and are controlled by the same corporations as we are.
That's right. Yes.
I mean, and Robert Tucker. Hello, Robert. Thanks for joining, mate. He agrees.
I've got nothing against Chinese, Andy. It's just the Chinese government, the Chinese military. But then you could look at the American military, and you know, are they any better, or the Russian military, or the Ukrainian military? You know, they're just warmongers.
Well,
anyway, that's a story.
The problem is that Chinese don't travel very well, and I'll tell you a quick story. I was in Gochang a couple of weeks ago, and I was at the breakfast buffet, and there was a Chinese lady in front of me, and they had this. It looked beautiful, a big stained glass bowl of yogurt, right? Beautiful yogurt in a big bowl with a, and there was a scoop thing that you scoop into the bowl. Well, she put her finger into the yogurt, and tasted it.
Fair enough.
And then, things like that really annoy me because obviously they're not educated. But is it their fault? I mean, she thought it was probably okay. It's probably okay. Yeah. But I've seen them take the not the same lady, another lady, you know, where you got the bread and you can carve the bread to have with your breakfast or whatever. She picked up every single loaf, prodded it with her finger to see if it was dry or fresh, and put the bread back in the.
Why not?
So the guy I was with went to the waiter.
There was a time, Andy, they would bring their kids over to Thailand, and they would. If the kid wanted to go to the toilet, they'd just pull up the footpath and put a few droppings there. You know, which is normal to do in their country, I guess. I don't know.
I know. So who do you blame? You know, you can't blame that person because obviously
they should be educated at China about other customs of other countries. They should be really educated in China. Now you get a person from a village in China, which all of a sudden's got this money that, well, some of them are getting it, and you know they've got all of a sudden they've got $1,000 now. I'll go and visit Thailand, and you know they've come straight out of a village where they just shit in the street. Maybe they do, and maybe they don't. I don't know. And they think they can do that sort of thing in other countries, and you know, I was at a hotel once, and you know, and you know, in the early days with the Chinese, probably about 8 years ago, and they just, you know, you stand in line. There's no such thing as a line in China. It's every man for himself. You know, at the airport when you're going through customs, if you're standing in line, they won't stand in line. They'll go up to the front and you know, because they know you're not going to say anything. But you know,
Yeah, that's a bit of an
some of
Asian thing as well. Well, the Thais do
oh,
that.
not really. I mean, yeah, it is an Asian thing, Andy. But the Chinese push it to one extreme. Jesus.
Yeah. No, I get. I had a.
Yeah.
And this is a true story as far as I believe the guy. This is about 30, 40 years ago. He went to north of China, and he said the streets were like full of shit, crap, and he said he saw a fetus in the gutter, human fetus in the gutter. And I mean, he was just like gobsmacked.
Yeah, right,
He just couldn't believe it. I don't know if it's like that anymore. And I'm not having to go to the Chinese. They annoy me, especially when they come here and act like they do. But then I got to think about, they don't really know they're doing anything that's wrong. You know, if someone does something that they know is wrong, then they are wrong. If somebody does something wrong and doesn't know it's wrong, then maybe they're not wrong. They are wrong, but maybe it's not their fault. You understand what I'm saying? And so I don't know. The Chinese need to educate people better, as you said, on traveling. Now that these people can travel, they can travel anywhere in the world.
I think
they need to take care of that situations, because they represent their country, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, when an English person goes over to Pattaya and acts like an idiot, they are letting down the country of origin, in my opinion.
That's right. Yeah. And, you know, I was wondering about the visitors in Thailand, one of the panels, I can't remember which one. And they said the Chinese are huge. They come out. The Chinese go to Thailand. They go to a Chinese tourist. They go to Chinese hotels. They go to Chinese restaurants, and they go back home. So not a lot of that money stays in Thailand.
Absolutely.
You know that one?
Absolutely. I mean, I've sat in Walking Street in Pattaya, and I've been sat at the bar with my mates, high as a kite, having beers, listening to Country Roads Take Me Home, and you see the Chinese coming by, and
where'd you get that from?
You feel like you look like you're a fish in a fish bowl, you know, goldfish in a bowl. They're just looking at you and go, that's what's happening. But they wouldn't come down and sit down and have a song with you. No way. They're just like with the flag, and they're just going by, and they're looking as if you're a museum piece. You know what I'm? I know. Oh, Robert.
I don't have a problem with Chinese people. I really don't. But you know.
Yeah, I don't want to be anti-China. I've met. There's a few friends here, people I know that are Chinese, and they are perfect. But they've lived here for a long time.
Yeah.
They've
I think what's it? Some crazy 60% of Thais have got Chinese in them, something like that.
Oh,
is
yeah.
Right?
And well, I would say Thai Chinese is about 30%, but I don't know, so don't quote me on that.
Look, up here where I am in, they don't like the Chinese up north. They just don't like them.
Oh, they don't. No, the Thai
don't
like Thai Chinese. They don't do anything against them, but the Thai Chinese are the ones that will work really hard. The Thai Chinese here in Bangkok, they're the ones in Chinatown. They're the ones that has their stores open for 20 hours a day. They'll work and they'll work and they'll work and they'll work. But the Thais, I don't say they hate the Thai Chinese, but they don't think very highly of them. The same as they don't think very highly of the Thai Indians.
But this is the thing with any country. If you control the media, you control the people. And China controls their media, as long as Russia and Ukraine controls the media over there. And, you know, North Korea, well, that's extreme control of the media, you know. And, you know, so I can't say I hate Chinese people. I just don't like their military and their government. You know.
I think so. I would go a step further, and I would say I feel sorry for the general Chinese people, because they are kept in the dark. You know, they have to accept what they're given, and they follow the rules, and that's the end of it. North Korea, as you said, is taken to the extreme, and North Korea should be invaded, and the military should be thrown out thrown in a dungeon and forgotten, and let the people eat a meal a day at least. You know what I'm saying? There's people in North Korea. There's people falling over in hunger, dead in the streets.
That's right.
No food.
That's right.
No food.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
it's a sad state of affairs. Who's going to do something about it? Andy, are the English going to go there and invade North Korea? They probably would win, but how many soldiers is it going to cost, and how much is it going to cost? And will that fucking idiot push the button? Oh, yeah.
America's more interested in the Middle East for the oil and everything else. Being all big oil. I don't know if North Korea has any oil. Well, they did have oil, but it got cut off, didn't it? They couldn't supply it to anybody. Yeah, well, they did that. They did that. Says, right, you got oil. Yeah, well, you're not going to give it to anybody anymore. They couldn't sell it. So
I see. In my lifetime, mate, I think the whole fucking world's gone insane. You know, all these fucking fights all over the place.
Robert Tucker says you could say the same thing about many other countries, and I mean, I couldn't disagree with that. That's why I don't read the news. I'm the worst now up to the Ukraine-Russia war. I don't follow it. To tell you the truth, Andy, I'm getting a bit sick of it. I'm getting a bit sick of it. Well, I don't follow it anymore. I can't do anything about it.
I can't watch this Palestinian thing anymore, and the Ukraine's. I just read the headlines. I don't bother reading it anymore. It's just
that's exactly what I.
There's innocent people getting killed. No, I don't like reading about. You know, I've been to Ukraine. I think you know that, and you know they're a struggling country. You know, which is through bad management, I guess. I don't know. I won't go into that. And they're struggling. They get themselves a home. That's all they have a bomb come through the fucking window and blow it all up. And you know, and you see this old lady, 80, 90-year-old, on the side of the road, Ukrainian, just because that's all we see. You know, just pissing down snow, and she's got nowhere to go. And that, to me, that is really, really sad to see. Is society sunk that low?
Well, here's the thing. I watch some of these old newsreels about World War II, all the people leaving Poland, all the Jews trying to get out, and I see them trudging down a road, and they've just got the clothes that they're walking in, and they've got a little wheelbarrow behind them with a lampshade and a chair and a few pots and pans. And they're going into the unknown because they're leaving behind. Oh, it makes me want to cry. They're leaving behind, you know, their whole family history. They grew up there. They had the childhood there, probably in semi-happy times, and they just have to say bye-bye. And they're going down a road, snow everywhere. It's cold. People are dying left, right, and center from hypothermia, and they got their little wheelbarrow with, as I say, their few little worldly goods that are, you know, worth nothing except for them, and that's all they have. And I see these newsreels in black and white, and I just feel, and then I think of people complaining now that the bus doesn't arrive on time outside their door, or the Uber service is not very good, or I ordered a meal, you know, in a taxi, and it was a bit cold when it came here. To be honest, they lost their. They don't know what hard life is. They really don't. No, I don't.
You know. It's my turn now, Andy. You know, I was in Ukraine, and Ukrainian, but they did not. In Crimea, you know where Crimea is? It's a blob down the bottom. Anyway, I was there for about a year, and they didn't like the Ukrainian mainland at all because that was a holiday resort where everybody went, Crimea, and especially the Russians. So they didn't, because they'd make all this money and they wouldn't keep it there. They'd spend it on Kiev or blah blah blah. The roads were terrible. The buses would just had wobbly wheels and blowing black smoke. And, you know, they didn't like the Ukrainians. But one thing I found, all Ukrainians, they loved the Russians. They absolutely loved them, okay? And the Russians loved Crimea and the people there. And what happened was, naughty Putin invaded Crimea and took it over. And he had a vote. He reckons that he got 95% of the votes to join Russia. You know, and I honestly believe that was true. But what the Americans and the United Nations wanted, they wanted to pulling the United Nations to have another vote, and Putin basically told him to get fucked, and then all the sanctions started. Yeah, but well, look at it now. I mean,
Well,
Russia and Ukraine were blood brothers, and now look at it.
well, I follow this
West
guy.
stuck their fucking nose in there.
Well, I follow this guy, Bald and Bankrupt, and he was talking to a lot of Ukrainians, and a lot of them said that they preferred it when the Russians were there.
Yeah,
and they said that everything's gone downhill since. So there's a lot of Russian sympathy.
I'm getting I'm getting a lot of feedback about that. Myself.
Yeah.
Look, my ex-wife is Russian. I don't know if you know, and my stepson, which I'm very close to, is in Crimea at the moment. He's in the police force there. Wow, and he told me little things here and there, and they don't want to go back to Ukraine. None of them do. They want to stay with the Russians. So, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
Robert Tucker's backstage, Andy.
Oh man, thank you. How do you know that?
It says it in the notice board, the chat.
I'm sorry, Robert. I hope you weren't waiting too long. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right, Andy. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, mate. Thank you for coming on the panel. Yeah, I get blamed for people backstage. I don't know. Never mind. I'm old. Yeah, but it's interesting
details,
to
Andy. Everything's about details.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear about all these countries that we think are communistic and like Russia or China. But to be honest, in my opinion, with compared with the West, there's sort of like pros and cons for both sides from what I see. And I'm not a political guy, trust me, I'm not. I just, read things. I don't know what is happening, to be honest.
Let me put my 2 cents in the bag here real quick. In my opinion, we aren't in the world we used to be in, for one. And we're starting to see the end stages of what I would consider consolidation control. These other countries, not so much as Russia, but China for sure. As I stated before, it's the perfect corporate structure, and that's what they'd like to see. Shall we say, divest in a Western culture and engage more in a top-down control structure. Now, Chinese people in general, now don't get me wrong, there's Chinese people here that came here the right way. Came here because they actually escaped China because of things that were being done to them. And they absolutely hate the government over there. It isn't the people. And we're starting to see the same thing here in the Western world, where less and less control is being controlled by the people and more controls being done by the government, which I would consider the managerial class, because we all know the corporate structure now controls every damn thing on the planet.
Well, you don't see Americans leaving America for other countries because they don't like America, do you?
No, and frankly, I think we're at an impasse here, to tell you the truth. There's a huge struggle in the United States right now for control. How that plays out is yet to be seen, but I'll say this: if it goes sideways, hang on to your ass. Because all these wars are starting and stuff like that. Don't think that isn't on purpose. We all know it is. And it's very easy to create a boogeyman out of things that people don't understand.
You're exactly right, Robert. Exactly fucking right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I despise the Chinese government. I don't despise Chinese people.
No, that's what I was saying. That's what I was trying to reiterate. It's,
I from the people I've talked to, when you one of the part of the reasons you guys were talking about how they act in society and stuff, but you have to realize something. If you look at from a societal epigenetic point of view, you have to remember they went through the whole Mao communist takeover thing, which totally killed actual Chinese heritage, structure, and beliefs and things like that, and became more of an authoritarian. Now, during that age, they didn't have the luxury of thinking about tomorrow. They had to live with what they had at hand. So that mindset set in. It's like if you go to a park there, you watch any videos online of a park, you won't see as much as a fucking bird. Why? Because somebody ate it for dinner. It's amazing how they make things look versus the realities of the mindset of the people. And as I said, we're seeing the same thing creep into the Western world now. The same ideas.
Agreed.
And the problem is you get people fighting over, well, they're only doing this or they're only doing that. And what they don't understand is they don't understand the whole structure, that it isn't the people, it's the leadership. And we can say that in all of our countries right now. I mean, the Western world in itself, when it comes to leadership, is an absolute shit show. They certainly aren't representing the people any longer. There's no doubt about that. They would bow down and kiss the asses of any corporate structure out there. And that's
the sad truth, though, isn't it, Robert?
That's the absolute truth. They're like parasites. They move back and forth, exploit the population as they can, and as much as they can. And when they push back, they move on to another place they can exploit. The only difference now is they want to take what they've done in those structures and move it worldwide. And that's why we're seeing the fall and the destruction of the Western world. And frankly, you're going to see the same thing happening in Thailand. You're going to see the same thing happen all across Asia there.
Oh, Robert, I just saw a documentary from Al Jazeera about Thailand, about the north of Thailand, and the money that is, like billions of baht, which is millions of dollars, being put to farmers, and the mayors of the provinces actually gave them 20%, kept 80%. And there's defamation now going on. They say there's 10,000 defamation lawsuits going on at the moment, but the poor people can't afford to file the suits. So
exactly.
Does it sound familiar? Exactly. And there was a gold mine there, and there was cyanide in the water system, and half the villages were wiped out through cyanide. And this is still now going through because the common people can't have the voice anymore, because the rich people, the mayor, and you need to watch it. I couldn't share it for some reason. It was on YouTube, Al Jazeera documentary, and it's only like 3 weeks old. I couldn't share it to anybody, and I don't know why. I think it's probably my end because I'm registered in Thailand. I couldn't send it to anybody. I couldn't. But and this mayor, in his black suit and tie, looking like I'm the guy. He's got his Bentley parked around the corner, and these people are being wiped out. Not only from cyanide poisoning, but they got no money, and then the government fined them 3 million baht, 4 million baht for not paying back the money that they were owed for being given the money that they didn't receive in the first place. It's a shit show here.
Well, and the thing of it is, I don't think a lot of people, I shouldn't say that. We have to remember, we are kind of in a bubble here. Even though we have a lot of international people, the consolidation of power across this planet is becoming more readily apparent. And people had the semblance of this idea that people actually had a voice, and to some extent they did. But when it boils down to it, the money changers in the corporate structure have had control of everything, and now they're on the move to consolidation. For many reasons I could give you, and many reasons people wouldn't believe.
Well,
And that's the problem with a lot of things. People won't
I'd
believe
like
it till right in their face.
I'd like to say hello to Lino Vilena, who says that I don't think much has changed over the past few centuries. The world still operates in the same manner. The difference is our perception. Some of us can see it now. So it's becoming more transparent, right?
Yeah. One thing I'll add to that, though, I think it's becoming more consolidated. You're having what I would consider, what people say are the elites of society, I'd call them parasites, are actually eating themselves. They're consolidating their power at the top.
Yeah, but if all these, you know, we say in Thailand, and I can only speak on Thailand because I know it maybe as well as you guys do, better. There's about 10 families that run Thailand, and always get the concessions. They always get parliamentary votes. They can't lose. They're on a win all the way along. But is that much different from America?
No, absolutely not.
That's my, you know, we're inclined to say, oh, you know, we're in a sort of a developing country, it's Asia and da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. But it's no different really globally, is it? Africa, there's another, you know, let's talk about Africa. You know, I mean, the corruption, the who owns and who makes the money and who loses out, the people.
Well, but you also have to look at it this way, and I'm going to be quite blunt here.
Please.
The exploitation has moved into those places, but I'll ask you this. Show me one reason or show me one African country that's first world, and then tell me why there isn't.
Okay. Again?
Show me one country in Africa that's first world, and then tell me why there isn't.
Isn't what?
Isn't first world.
Why isn't it first world?
That's my point.
Yeah. Well, because there's certain faction.
They're not allowed to be.
Don't want it to be. They don't want anybody to step into their garden. They want it all for themselves, and they want to manipulate everybody else. Surely that's the answer to that. No?
Well, the other point I'd like to make, though, too, is look at South Africa. And if any country was closer to first world, it would have been them. And look what happened when you had people who were incompetent who took over. That's another problem we have. You know, and people don't want to see things for what they are.
Okay, Robert, can I ask you a very blunt question? Which is pretty obvious.
I'm good for blunt.
Yeah, no. Actually, it's not that blunt now. I'm thinking about it. Is it all down to greed? Is it greed that drives power, which is greed? Is it all down to greed? People just want more.
Well, absolutely. You know, I've come to a conclusion, Andy. You have a small or a certain subset of society who aren't greedy people. The unfortunate thing is, by their nature of not doing that, they're exploited by people who are. And you can call it good nature, you can call it whatever you want. You know, call it like the pacifist versus the predator. You can be pacifist all you want, but you're always going to lose to a predator. Now, that can fall across many aspects of society. Not just war, but in politics and in control. And it's very obvious now that even in small societies where if you have, quote unquote, a balance, when you have somebody with the mindset of like a corporate structure where the only goal is more to them and less for the population, you're going to have the same thing.
Well, I met a guy a few months ago that I know quite well. We're quite friendly. He's a good guy as well. And he owns jewelry shops around and the mines in Thailand. He's multi-millionaire. And I said to him, "What keeps you going? Why are you working? Because you can retire, and your next generation can retire, and the generation above that can retire. You've made enough money." He said, "Oh yeah, fine." So I said, "What keeps you going?" "I want more." That's what he said. "I want more." And I said, "What do you mean you want more?" He says, "I want more of what I've got." But I said, "You've got enough." He said, "No, I want more." And he works very hard. He's a workaholic.
Well,
He says,
there's nothing.
I just thrive on making more."
You know,
It's a good
there's
attitude,
nothing
isn't it?
wrong with that type of mindset in either direction. The problem is when it becomes exploitative, and that's the problem we have. Exploitation has become okay.
Well, yeah. Well, it goes back to cheap labor and everything else, which is exploitation for sure. You can
Well,
build a house.
it moves
you know,
beyond just cheap labor. The deception in the deception we have when it comes to, say, quote unquote, the higher business class is what's leading to what we have nowadays, because they have to use other things to cover that deception. You get what I'm saying?
No, I get it. Yeah, no, I know. I mean, we're getting into the realms now where I get a bit confused, and it's against my whole way I think. I just can't. I can't. I don't know. I just don't understand how people can exploit people to make themselves better off. You understand what I'm like? "Oh, okay, Robert Tucker, become a member of my channel. Give me $5,000 a month, and because I need my channel. I'm exploit, and I'll give you this, that, and the other."
Well, but
So
that's the thing, though. We live in a world now.
Well, gentlemen, in a perfect world, we'd all have houses and we'd all have jobs, we'd all have food, and the next door neighbours as equal as you are, which is called communism. Now they had that in Russia and Ukraine. I talked to some of the older people there about communism. It was good. It does work, but the problem with communism is why work? You're going to get the money anyway. Why change the system? Why make a better machine? Just keep pumping it out. And that's what's made communism fail in communist countries. Is it just people doesn't give people an incentive to invent new things, which is what the West was doing.
You make a good point there, Clark. That's why that system will never work. But in the same token, for example, they call what we have right now going on capitalism, and it's not. It's corporatism. True free market capitalism is nothing like what we have now, because they've made the laws that reinforce their structure and squeeze out what I would say the little guy. The little guy can't compete when the laws are in their favor, be it tax laws, be it business laws, be it licensing laws, whatever.
Do you have many shops left in America? Like, can you walk up to the local shop anymore, or are they all gone into shop centers?
Most of them are gone now, Clark.
We can't. They're all
the
all
last
gone.
4 years made sure of
You
that.
used to go to walk around the corner milk bar and get lots of things. And now you have to go to a big, huge shopping centre that they have to pay the absorbent price for rent, and all the price goes up.
Yep.
Look at the supermarkets in my country, in Australia. They dictate all the prices.
Yep.
The government doesn't do anything about it. I mean, they buy a potato for 10 cents and they sell it for $2.
And there's exploitation for you.
If that. Yep. And no one does anything about it.
Everybody thinks that what's going on in these other countries is only unique to them, and what they don't understand is they can look right out the back door and see the same thing, just in a different form. COVID was a big example of that, and people didn't recognize it. When they closed down all the small businesses, you couldn't go to bars, you couldn't go to local party stores, you couldn't go to small shops, but you could go to big box stores. Those had to stay open. That should have told everybody right then and there who controls their fucking government. It didn't have a damn thing to do with safety. It had everything to do with gaining more control of the population and the markets and the services and goods and how they're moved around in society. You know, I would bet here in the States in the last 4 years, we've probably lost 50% of the small businesses. And as we all know, that's what makes communities.
Yeah. Oh, what a lovely
But
world.
with that consolidation, as with anything, it becomes a single point of failure. And we're seeing that now.
When it comes to communism, at school I read Animal Farm, and to me, it was all about exploitations, like the theory about everybody's equal. The person lives next door, earns the same amount as you. They have the same car as you. They eat the same food. They can afford everything, and everybody's happy. But then there's always going to be some hierarchy that wants to control that. And
Yep.
You know, that's Animal Farm. You know.
But in the same token, tell me how, in that view of communism, is any different than what we have now with corporatism. Tell me what the difference is.
No difference.
It's
control of the people that have the power and don't have the power, and well, you know, but it's never going to change, is it? Never going to change.
A lot of these presidents and prime ministers should be called Caesar.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Clark. You're not wrong.
Et tu, Brute.
Yeah.
But you know,
That's a fucking joke. Some of the things you see on there, honestly.
We had a stint in the Western world where the population had more control of the outcome of their lives and their structures and the businesses. And as you said, like that person you talked to, they wanted more. They wanted more. They wanted more. You know, you can look at, if you look at history and look at the statistics, and it used to be that a corporate structure in a business, about 3% of it, if we were look back in the 60s, about 3% of it actually went through up to the upper top and left the area. Now only about 3% stays. So everything that we've based our economies on in, say, 50, 60, 70 years past has been turned upside down. You know, you can't have an economy where you have corporations who have no national sovereignty. They have no allegiance to any country or any community. You can't have them draining out wealth from a community when they claim, well, we're putting back in cheap products. And this is where I'll say where China comes in. China provided the avenue to do that. And most people don't understand is, yeah, you can bring in all the products in the world you want, but if you don't have circulation of wealth or currency through a community's overall standard of living lowers. And we're seeing that all across the Western world.
So do you think these people in charge lack empathy, lack conscience, lack morality? No, look at morality, empathy, compassion. Do you think they are devoid of that?
Well, it's already been proven psychologically speaking that most of the people in world leadership or government leaderships, 40% of them can be clinically classified as sociopaths. So what does that tell you?
Look, from BD, the small local family-friendly banks have gone to the wayside as well. Yes, they have, BD, same in Australia. It's all internet now. You see a 90-year-old lady going up, standing in a queue in a bank, which is probably 30 people in front of her. Oh, you should use the internet. Like, what's the internet? That's a fucking joke. And when you're in these queues, I don't know if you guys noticed, right? In these queues, these 20 people long, there's all these pamphlets on the internet, how to internet banking and shit like that. Unbelievable. Now you go to a supermarket, you can check yourself out.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus,
you think of how many billions of people live on this planet, right? Our Mother Earth, and how little amount of people actually control it. It probably is mind-boggling. I haven't done the maths, and I'm sure you couldn't even Google that. but you consider the ratio between good people, people that are just trying to live a nice life and be comfortable. There's billions of them. And then there's a few, and it's a few that control everything. And that's what I find hard to.
I've got a great idea, Andy. How about we, the Chinese, we send all the product over there, like, so we'll say wool, for instance. We'll send them the wool. They can knit us our jumpers and send them back. And fuck the 3,000 people in my company that are working. I'll sack the fucking lot of them, and just sell. It's how it works, mate. It's fucking nuts, the whole lot of it. Every Western country government sold us all down the fucking river.
Yep. Because they're controlled by corporate structure. If people think their politicians actually control their governments, they ain't been paying attention.
No.
Well, this lady, I think is Lena Valena's coming up with some great comments. If you want to hit the link, it's there somewhere, and come on and talk, because I don't know who you are, where you're from, or whatever, but please do. You don't have to, but your comments are well appreciated. Well appreciated.
I think
the price of land.
More apparent.
You can't buy a house over here in Australia now. You can't buy a house. It's just too expensive. And Mike, that's a similar price in Australia. Similar prices. I mean, we're 700,000 to buy a house. It's fucking nuts.
But let me ask you this: why is that?
Not a little condo. Oh, Chinese buying up everything. And Americans, I don't know. Someone's buying up all the market, and they're renting them out, and big corporates are coming along and buying huge chunks of land and.
Yeah, but Steve, when you say Chinese are coming over and buying large chunks of things, it's only a minority of the Chinese. It's the ones with the money, which is 3% of the population, 2% of the 1% of the population. So money is everything. Greed, money, power, knowledge. It's.
Let me give you an example. In the past 4 years in the United States, the claimed illegal immigration, is at about 10 million. When in all actuality, according to the latest figures from our Congress, it's over 30 million. Okay? We've literally supplanted another Australia inside of the United States. So what happens when they move people from all these countries and you now have to have goods, services, shelter, housing, all that? The thing is, you don't bring up the standard of living by doing that. You actually lower it. And that's what they're doing across the Western world. I truly believe this. They want a structure similar to what the Chinese structure is, where you have a subset of the elite at the top controlling the country for the most part. And you have a middle managerial class who is more than happy to exploit the population for their own gains.
Yeah.
You wonder why you can't afford a house. Correct. Well, Clarkey hit it. You have corporations and everything out bringing people in and buying shit up.
Oh, let's put another big building there. We've got about 10,000 of them in this building. Oh, fucking hell. They keep letting them do it. Never mind.
The thing that I think, like, especially, Robert and Steve here, but there's so many people like us. All we want to do is have a nice life and not eating caviar every day or, oysters and going out for fancy dinner. We just fancy a comfortable life, which means a roof over our head in a place that we call home. And we are just going day to day, but we have enough money for when we get old, we can, die comfortably. That's all we want. It's not
too
a
much
mega.
To fucking ask, Andy.
Is that too much to ask? Is it too much to ask?
But
I mean, that's how I think.
The thing of it is, Andy, that's the ideal. The problem is, we live in a world where, shall we say, the vicious of society, and as you said, that one guy, they always want more. You know, there's people out there who literally that you don't hear about that have, and I hate to say money because money really isn't power or wealth. Control of those systems are where the real power and wealth comes from. We don't build the systems we have to live in. They're built for us to live in. And it's always going to be an exploitation of those as long as we allow those systems to keep in place. And it's all, if you think about it, it's all about centralization. You know, the world across communities and stuff like that could have exactly what you're talking about, but you can't have it without a corporate structure that we have now.
Well, you need organization and you need a structure for sure.
Yes, but not at the level we have.
Well, the people organizing the structure are the ones that we have to watch out for because they're organizing that structure to suit themselves.
Absolutely. But they're taking, you know, for example, big box stores. Everybody thinks it's great because it consolidates stuff in and it's cheaper and all this shit because they're bringing it in from third world countries where the average local worker can't compete with the wages. So all of that coming into that community, they're dumping products in, and none of that wealth is staying in the community. It's all drained out to wherever their corporate structure happens to be. And in the same turn, it takes, you know, you got the local bakery now that's gone. You got the local party store that's gone. You got the small manufacturer that's now gone. You know, and you're right, BZ. Corporations control the politicians. Of course they do. The worst thing that we ever let happen in this country, which used to be illegal at the founding of this country, is corporate protection. To get that before, you had to do something that was actually for a public works. Now it's been into corporate structure protects stock markets, protects hedge funds. They can say, oh, well, we screwed 1 million people, but that's quite all right. You know, I forget what the saying was. If you rob a bank, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. If you rob a country, you'll be put on a pedestal and worshipped.
Oh, we've lost Stephen for some reason. Don't know where he went.
I'm sure he'll be back.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's a never-ending argument, Robert. It's frustrating wise. There's nothing we can do. We can talk and debate forever and ever and ever. Will it ever change? No.
Well,
not in the society I know.
Things are changing, Andy, just not in the way that's going to benefit the average person.
How do you rate, describe the average person?
Just as you said, you know, where people, no matter what they're, okay, let's define average person. You have to define that to the community that you live in. You know, it's like a lot of people, let's say we'll compare, you know, middle America to the tribes of Africa. The tribes of Africa are quite content living the life the way that they live and can be quite happy about it. Do they need corporations to come in and say, oh, well, we can do better for you and stuff like this? And what happens is they take away their ability to be able to self-sustain them stuff. They become reliant upon that.
Yeah, but they're probably relying on a headman of the village that probably has some connection with some higher headman that is higher to another headman, and maybe some money filters through down to their village. So
well,
maybe
absolutely. That's what I'm saying, though. In a community, the ideal is a community is self-sustaining upon itself. You know, where the stuff that community needs is produced and used in that community. Now, you're obviously going to have trade stuff back and forth, but it has to be equal. And what we have now is an unequal when it comes to trade, because they'll exploit the cheapest labor that they can get, move it into places where things were stable, or at least somewhat stable, and extract the wealth out of those. And we're seeing it. That's why you're seeing inflation and stuff the way it's at, because for them to be able to keep doing that in the systems that we have, they have to deflate the currencies across the world to keep that happening. And that's readily apparent. You know, that's why all these countries went off the gold standard, because they can't have a level playing field with the population, which used to hold the largest amount of wealth. Now it's the few that hold the largest amount of the wealth. And real wealth. I'm not speaking of, a piece of paper in your pocket.
No.
I mean, for example, and I hate to use this example because it's the horse is beat to death, but Bill Gates alone owns hundreds of thousands of acres of land. Why? Should that land not be in control of the local communities who actually use it?
Well,
and everybody say, "Oh, that's communism." No, it's not. It's common sense. You have a choice now in this world of how we're going to be governed and how we live. And it doesn't matter if it's corporatism or it's communism. Either way you slice it, they're two faces of the same side of an exploitive coin.
Well, Robert, you live in a country where other parts of the world think you are like the most democratic country ever.
Bullshit.
Well, that's what other people think,
Well, and here's another thing. I hate the word democratic. Democracy is nothing more than mob rule. I live in a country that is a constitutional republic. Used to be. There's a difference when people say, well, it's democratic and everybody thinks that's a great thing. No, democracy is a one-way ticket to communism.
Well, I always worry when there's a new country and they title themselves the Democratic Republic of something. I think, no, that's not going to work.
That will never work. You have to have individual rights. When you lose individual rights, you got what you have, democracy, where the mob can overrule the minority.
Hello, Ronan. Yeah,
hey, Ronan.
I mean, and come on, you're like full of all this stuff. But to be honest, it's a great debatable conversation. But in my older years, I think it's not going to get us anywhere anyway. We can moan and we can groan and we can, give the majority of what everybody feels is what we're talking about now. But where's it going to lead us? Nothing. Nowhere.
Here's
nowhere.
Hold on, though. Hold on, though, Andy. One thing that I'll point out.
I'm not a defeatist. Don't get me wrong.
No. I'm not talking about defeatist. That has nothing to do with what I'm going to say.
Okay, bro.
We are in our class, the last generation that recognizes what's going on, because much of the younger class does not. They've been sold a bill of goods that's false.
Brainwashed.
Well, yeah, they've been sold something to believe in that's kabuki theater.
Yeah.
But we recognize that. So when you have these discussions, hopefully it might plant the seed in some of the younger generation at some point in time.
Well, okay. Why I say defeatist is often I just give up. I think I have a few more years left in this world, in this life. There's another one coming, hopefully. But I feel like there's nothing that I can do that can change things. And that's why I say defeatist.
I would say that's untrue. Everybody says you have to vote with your dollar. Well, that's somewhat true, but you also have to vote with knowledge. And that's the thing that we're lacking nowadays. When you look at what's coming up, many of them have no belief in that the people above them have any wisdom of society, when the exact opposite is true.
So what you're saying is that the new generation coming up, like my son, his generation, and his children, the next generation, that they won't resist. They just accept.
Exactly, unless we speak up and teach them. And we're now, most of our children are taught by government, which is controlled by corporate. Or in the case of China, communist, which is no different than corporate, in my opinion.
So how can the majority, which it is the majority that think like us, it's the majority for sure, still have no say? So how can you have a say? Yes, you talk on this podcast, which is great and lovely conversation, but is it going to affect anything?
Do you speak out in society, talk to people?
No, probably not.
Well, there you go.
Do you?
Yes, I do, as much as I possibly can.
Right. Yeah, that's your commitment. Maybe I've just made my bed and I'm lying in it and I go, well, the next generation, get on with it. I'm sorry. That's why I keep using this word. I'm a defeatist. I just give up.
Well, but the thing of it is, you have to realize we aren't going to turn what's been coming on, in my opinion, for the last 150 years. It's been a slow creep towards what we are. But what we can do is talk to the younger generation that will listen, and then there are some that will, and get them to think about what we're talking about and get them to see what we're talking about. Because I'll tell you the truth, that's the only chance humanity has. If we don't do that, we're going to end up being controlled by one superstructure.
I get it. I guess I maybe lack motivation. I don't know. I mean, Beasley says, yeah, the millennials think us all boomers are stupid. I think there is much more conditioning going on, not necessarily, with the next generation. I'm talking about kids now that are 5 years old, 6 years old, their generation. What are they going to be brought up on? What are they going to be conditioned to? I mean, obviously, social media is a major thing which affects their life. I mean, they are like addicts to it.
Well,
and that controls them, you know?
I'll be quite honest. And it's just like Uwe said earlier, you know, when he was talking about like with the WF and all this happy shit. When the very first thing that they said is you'll own nothing and be happy, they've sold that lie. What we have to do is unsell that lie.
So how do you do it? You know, demonstrations, social media. How do you do it?
Well, this is social media, is it not?
Yeah, but you've got about 15 people listening to us, bro.
Correct. And that's why I ask you, when you're in the real world talking to people, do you have these discoveries in the real world?
Well, I wouldn't even know how to go out of my house and talk to people about this shit.
Exactly, because the society has been ostracized to talk to each other. Why do you think the lockdowns in the last 4 years were so effective in fucking every country up?
No speakeasies anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a defeatist. I'm just like, well, it is what it is, and yeah, I'm probably a defeatist, probably because I can't see any change that I'm going to do. I mean, we all think alike, you know. But
let me ask you this: and I hate to use this in a whimsical or a philosophical way, but the truth holds true. You don't plant a seed to a tree, as it said, that you'll never sit under, unless you're thinking of the generation in front. As it says, the generation before plants the trees they will never sit under for the generation that comes after. And if we don't plant those seeds, there aren't going to be any of those trees. And those trees right now are knowledge.
I get that. I mean, I brought up my son with, I think, the right moral values, and he's pretty good on this sort of thing. But that's all I can do. It's my family circle. That's all I can do. It's like I brought another person into this world that is a reasonable thinking guy, and he's married and got a kid, and he's going to hopefully bring up with my feelings, my morality. So that's all I can do. I can't reach the world, can I?
Well, yes and no. They're always, you know, the littlest of things sometimes can make the biggest of impacts, Andy. And we aren't going to change what's happening now overnight. You know, just like I said. Go ahead, Andy.
No, it's long term. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and as I said, we have to plant the seeds to trees we'll never sit under. But if we don't do that, if we don't speak to the younger generation, even if you don't think they're listening, Yep, as BZ says, sometimes it only takes one person.
No, I get. Yeah, I should change. I am not a defeatist. I am not. But sometimes,
You actually expect to see an outcome that we'll never see, Andy.
yeah, exactly. And so sometimes I think, oh, okay, I'll spend more time listening to music, spending my time with my family, and let everybody get on with everything, do their thing.
But see, what you don't realize is you've been yourself conditioned to do that. You know, we've lost. Let me ask you this. It used to be 50, 60 years ago where a family sat down at a dinner table, had dinner, and talked about things.
We still do that now.
Not in America. I'll tell you right now, not in America. I would bet 75% of families, if you can call them families, many of them anymore, because of many reasons that I won't get into, because a lot of what I'd say would be very politically incorrect. But we've lost that. No longer do you have families sitting down talking about things. You know, they say you go to a reunion, don't talk about government or politics. Well, why shouldn't you?
Hmm.
You know, it's just like here. Why shouldn't you talk about government politics? Because I'll tell you what, music isn't going to change the world. Nor is music going to change the outlook. It can influence people, for sure.
Hmm.
But when it comes down to the hard things of society, if you don't talk to them about the things that are going on and people don't communicate with each other, how do you ever resolve anything?
Well, I know. I mean, so that's why I keep using this word. I'm a defeatist. That's a horrible word to call anybody, let alone myself. I'm a defeatist. In a way, I've given up. I mean, I've lived a good life. I've met loads of interesting people. I've never ever, what's the word? Ever bowed to convention. I've always been the person that's not been against it, but I've done my own thing. And I'm doing my own thing now. So I see this whole arena of politics and power struggles and war. And to me, I find it very, what's the word? Futile? Is that a good word to use? Very. So I'm not going to be the guy with the flag saying, let's go this way, let's do this way. I'm not a revolutionary. I'm not a revolutionary. And, you know, whereas I think you have a spark of you that is revolutionary.
No, not actually.
I admire that. No, I admire that big time. I just don't have that maybe passion. I don't know what it is.
Well, let me ask you this. Being part of a society means what?
Give and take.
Well, no. What is your obligation to that society?
My obligation to society is living within it and sustaining my family values.
Okay, but here's one of the problems I think that has happened. When you say you've lived your life, you've done whatever, you've done it your own way and all that stuff, but have you done your civic duty to the society that you're living in, that created everything that gave you what you have?
Definitely, probably not. Hello, Az.
As
yeah, g'day.
Hi. Definitely not. I haven't contributed it back in society apart from some charity work or whatever, but you know, that's so minimal.
As what BZ says right there, sometimes it only takes one person to speak out for others to hear, and she found that out at her local school board. So she exercised her civic duty.
Okay, let's take ours here now. I'm not putting you on the platform here, mate, but I admire you. Single parent, brought up his kids, only cared about his kids, put them in the right way they could go, and thinking this is what I need to do. Isn't that part of the society?
Absolutely. But does it end there?
Well, how far can you go? I mean, I'm not a bloody superstar.
No,
I just
let
have
me,
to, you
hold
know.
on. I'm not. That's not what I'm getting at, though. Let me ask you this: there's a saying that says, "You don't get the government you want; you get the government you deserve." If you don't actively be part of your civic duty, and we've lost that in society now because we always believe the politicians are going to have our best interests in mind. Well, no, they won't. Not if we aren't keeping them in check.
It doesn't matter who you vote for, you're going to get the same outcome no matter who you vote for.
See, you're under the illusion that you have to vote for somebody and not be that somebody.
Well, you don't have any good people to vote for anyway.
You missed my point.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I says you're under the illusion you have to vote for somebody and not be that somebody.
Julian Assange was that somebody, and look what they're doing to him.
And that's a very good, astute observation. But it comes down to, did people do their civic duty when that happened? No, they allowed their government to roll over them.
So you think, Robert, this is just a debate, right? This is just, you know, and I don't know which side of, but do you think people should take up arms and then revolution?
No. You're missing me.
Well, I think that's the only way. It's like
it's not the only way, Andy. You know, you made the point that I tried to point out to you when you said you only have two people to vote for. And what you're thinking is, I can't be the person that's being voted for. And that starts, we've lost it in our local areas. That's the biggest part of the problem, which, as we know, wells up to the top of the control of our systems. If we allow those who want exploitation to be the only ones who take and are in those positions, of course we're going to get what we got. You have to have not just a family mind in your community, you have to have a civic mind in your community. And Beasy makes that point. What's your 2 cents, Az?
Yeah, I don't think nearly enough people step up at the local government level. Nobody. And the people that do kind of have a fanatic streak or another. But, on the large scale with politics, there's that much activism involved now that there's absolutely no people standing up for anything conservative anymore. You watch the Republicans, but even the Republicans, they're not as conservative. I mean, I remember when Rage Against the Machine first started making songs, they were for lefties. It was all against Bush and the Republicans and all that. But now you listen to these songs and it's for the right. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy that we've let government.
What's really crazy is you look at the left-right paradigm when it comes to this shit, and we've done a full 180. You now have the Democrats who are the dogs of war, and the conservatives are the ones saying, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, that's true. But
the problem is, what we have in our governments now, I wouldn't call left or right. Most of them are fucking parasites.
Yeah, just sellouts. Absolutely, I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
And why is that? Because we've done our civic duty.
I got to sympathise with Andy on what can you do, because I've started deciding that nothing's ever going to change anything. I mean, until society kills itself, nothing's going to change.
I almost agree with you on that, but I don't give up quite so easy.
No, I know. Honestly, I don't either. I would always, proclaim the conservative thing, but I look around and I just think, geez, we have educated too many generations of kids now in communist, blaming the world, victimhood, coming out knowing what your pronouns are, that the people who built your country are no good. And this is what we're training everyone to do. And in the meantime, China's spitting out kids who are engineers, scientists of all sorts, they doctors, the lots, they're all very well educated. Not all of them, obviously, but comparatively to the West. I mean, and if you go back to when NASA stopped doing so many launches, India was doing all the heaviest lifting into space. And nobody fucking realizes this. Here's India, this massive fucking economy, 1.5 billion fucking people live there. They're doing the heaviest, I think it's until SpaceX started doing these heavy lift rockets, that you had to go to India if you wanted anything heavy put up into orbit. You know, and does the West have any clue about this? I mean, they think they're the pinnacle of everything, but they're not.
Exactly.
You know, and
That's spot on. Spot on.
The scary thing is, you know, if we've just spent the past 30 years, 40 years turning all our generations into absolute fucking morons, while the rest of the world's been, you know, doing what we said about doing originally, you know, it's going to take fucking another 50 years of people being born to be sick of this shit. And that's what I think it's going to take, because you look around and you've got like, you know, you go back 15, 20 years ago, the MGTOW movement or the Red Pill movement, you know, blokes going their own way, having enough of this feminist nasty situation with the courts and the laws and losing your children and losing all your belongings. And, you know, they've learnt their lesson. And, you know, up until like, I think it was about 10 years ago or maybe 8 years ago, you know, 80% of divorces, well, to begin with, 80% of divorces were ending in marriage. And 80-90% of those were brought about by the woman filing it with a no fault, you know, divorce submission, and she'd get it and destroy a bloke's life forever. And marriage rates are now down to 40%. Only 40% of blokes are crazy enough to get married in the West today. So, like, they've learnt their lesson. You see what I mean? They're stepping away.
Well, it's not our fault you guys don't know how to pick out women.
Hello.
Well, there's no good
mate.
women left, Mac. There's no good women
I'm
left.
married to one, and Robert's married to one.
Yeah, well, share her around for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
But you know, to Az's point,
Quit thinking with the wrong head, Az.
to his point, he's correct in that, because if you want to destroy a society, what do you have to do? You have to destroy the family structure.
Absolutely. Yep.
And that's what's happened. You
Yeah.
know, and that's, you know, as you said there, Andy, you know, what can you do? Well, people have to understand that allegiances start at home.
Correct.
And I hate to use the word allegiance because that's not really, it doesn't cover what I'm trying to get across.
Morality building starts at home.
Well, a duty to family, and then that duty moves on to your community, and that moves upon who controls your society. We've allowed that to be absconded by a class of people, as pointed out, that teaches children to be a bunch of fucking morons.
Well,
Yeah, you know, on that, just sorry.
Sorry,
You go. I was just going to say on Robert's point, here in Australia, like from baby boomers onwards, you know, I've kind of looked around at most Australian baby boomer people, and they don't really have much to show. They're not all living nicely like Banana King. You know what I mean? They've all pretty much got nothing.
He's got his rock. He's fine.
But if you look at the immigrants that came out here, the Italian immigrants, you know, they built businesses, they built homes. Every single child born to them had a job in the family. Everyone lived at home until the whole family could afford to build a second house. And this is how it would go. And Italians here made it very, very fucking wealthy throughout the 80s and 90s by doing it that way. You know, they've kept their little empire together. You know, you can bet your bottom dollar whatever the parents are voting this year is what you're all voting. You all think the same, and you know, and so do all your relatives, and you know. But this whole dynamic has been completely effing destroyed. And you know, and this is, I like to make a point of bringing up repeal the 19th, because the 19th Amendment to the Constitution gave women the right to vote in America. And I just look at it and I go, well, hang on a second. A marriage is supposed to be unified. It's supposed to be a man and a woman is supposed to be one entity. And yet somehow the West has embraced, oh, no, she's independent of any unity in the household. You know what I mean? Like the amount of attacks on the household are very, very fucking numerous. But what woman says, no, fuck you and your vote to her husband that she's supposed to be unified with, and has her own vote and votes her own way? It's division right there, right? It's in law. It's part of the Constitution, and it's devastating. There should be one vote for a household. You know what I mean? That household should be unified in how society affects them and what they want from society. But you know, we're all individuals now, and your government just wants you to be isolated on your own and thinking for yourself.
You put very succinctly what I was about to say. I don't want to throw the age card at this, but back in the day, in the 50s and 60s, you may have a sexless marriage in the sense of, well, it didn't quite work out right, but you have children, so the emphasis goes on the children, so you stay together and you bring them up. Now, even you have children, we don't give a shit about the children not having a mother and a father that live together. The father can go that way or the mother can leave and everything else. And that's what I feel is very it's disintegrated the family.
Absolutely, Andy. Well, look, Andy, it wasn't long ago a woman didn't look forward to marrying a man in particular. She looked forward to being married and having her own children and starting her own home and family. And a bloke looked forward to having his own home, a wife, and his family. And that's what the unification is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the children. That's supposed to be the love of both the parents. But no, we're living in a world today where, oh, I didn't love him anymore, or oh, he wasn't the man I married, or you know, it's like, well, hang on. So in other words,
he eats too much meat. I gotta leave him, you know. I'm a vegan, or he doesn't belong to the same religion, or whatever. Back in the day, you married, and it was till death us do part. Yeah, exactly. And there was loads of sexless marriage. I get all that. I understand that. And maybe if you're not having a good sex marriage or whatever, oh, I feel I'm not.
Those days are gone.
You know, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is, back in the day, it was a family unit, and that was one. It wasn't 3, 4, 5. It was one.
And Andy, it's a requirement as well, because if you don't stay together in that sexless marriage, I mean, look, we all grow old. Sex becomes less and less interesting. I mean, it's not a big bloody deal. But the point is, you're supposed to stay unified regardless of how you feel about each other, because your children need you. They're going to be into relationships and need you. They're going to have children who need you. And once you start ripping all this shit,
they get married and move out.
They're more important than your desires. They're more important.
Of course they are. And if you're lacking that very basic moral as a human being, that you can't even think about your offspring and what they're going to do once you're gone, I mean, I don't understand where people's heads are.
No, nor do I. Well, selfishness. I always thought that when I got married and I had a child, my selfishness, I was all about self until I got married. It was all about me and my family a bit, you know, hello, mum, hello, dad, how you doing, and all that. But it was all about me. What am I doing? What am I going to do next? As soon as I got married, it lessened. And as soon as I had a child, it disappeared. I was now not selfish. I had somebody else to think about, and it was them, not me.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Now, but people now are too selfish. Oh, we got kids, yeah, fine, but I don't fancy you anymore. I'm going to move on to the checkout counter girl and Tesco's or whatever. It doesn't matter, whatever, you know. And they have affairs, and affairs went on back in the day in Victoria.
Well, you didn't really love them then. Why'd you get married?
Why did I get married? Because I loved the girl that I married.
Well, I'm just saying you're out having affairs and things are not going together. Oh, by the way, hello everybody. What's up, Robert?
Oh, g'day, mate.
Yeah. So no, my point is that marriage today with children, they seem to not care about the family unit. The family unit, as you said, Robert, sitting around a table every Sunday or whatever, it doesn't matter. I've tried to instill that in my family. I'm not trying to be a saint, but because that's my old way of doing things. And that's what's missing now. They just separate. They don't give a shit about the kids. Oh, we love our boy. We love, both mother and father will say, we love him, we love him, we love him. But he's going off with somebody else. She's going off with somebody else. How does that kid feel?
Well, but that's to your point. Something that's said is politics is downstream from culture. And that's true. When you have a broken culture, you're going to have broken politics.
Yep.
And when it comes to, if you don't have a allegiance to your family, you're certainly not going to have an allegiance to your community or your society.
That's what I'm saying. It comes from family unit. And
Absolutely.
if you get let down, I mean, Az is, I'm not going to bring Az personal things into it, but Az knows that, you know, you get a fraction in your relationship, who suffers? You know, you carry on because the world carries on and everything. But if you get a kid from a good family, they should do well. You see all these people on these crime series, the serial. You go broken family, broken family, broken family all the time. Broken family. You know, brought up in foster homes, this and that. That affects them mentally. So then they go into the new society with that broken mentality. If you have a good family unit, I don't mean instill upon them what you think, but you bring them up with the right values that you think, then it's up to them to decide. And normally your values will win.
Well, they have to, you know, we talked about this earlier, where when you talk about, when you ask me about our politicians or the corporate leaders or whatever, do they think about other people? No, they don't. They don't think about their communities. They only think about more.
More, I know what you're saying, Robert.
The word is unit, Andy. The word is unit. They don't want any uniting, you know, not in families, not in societies, never. They don't want united anywhere. Hello, everybody, by the way. That's the thing.
Hello, Ewan.
They divide families, they divide friendships, they divide everything. Because they know if you stay united, you have power. If you are divided, you don't. That's simple.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And right there is why, right there, Uwe, is why Islam is going to end up taking over. There's no arguments. They're all of the same belief. They're all unified. We are fucked in the face of Islam. I can tell you.
In my town, the Islam think backwards.
I just want to tell you about that, what's happening here. We have the muezzin yelling out of fucking speakers in 3 cities in Germany already. They are yelling out their fucking propaganda bullshit out like in Saudi Arabia or in Iran, you know? And what, you know what? We have universities here where they are in the Mensa and having their fucking praying. You know what is in Saudi Arabia? It's illegal to pray in public. You go to jail because it's not allowed to pray outside your house or in a mosque. It's not allowed in Saudi Arabia. They put you to jail.
Yeah,
and here they force that shit on everybody. You know, that's what's going on.
Well, yeah, we get Sharia law here. My wife will listen to me. Wow. Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck.
Put that burqa.
We are at the point here that 14, 15 years old kids in school want to convert to Islam because they are bullied in school. They have 16, 17 years old Islam boys on the schools. They bully them with Sharia and all that shit, you know, calling them infidel and slapping them and whatever. They want to convert to Islam to not get bullied in school. That's what the situation in Germany is.
Well, Uwe, do you know who Andrew Tate is? Have you heard of Andrew Tate?
Yeah.
So, like, you know, I didn't mind hearing the shorts and that. It was always good listening to him. But one day I heard him saying that he converted from Christianity to Islam. And the reason he did it was that as he traveled the world and landed in all these Middle Eastern and Arab nations, he'd get off the plane and God is right there. You can see a mosque, you can hear a mosque. Everyone looks like they're Islamic. You know, they're all unified, and everywhere you walk, you see God, and nobody's really doing anything bad against each other. I mean, you go to some of these countries, like Saudi Arabia, for example. Do you realize how low the crime rate is there? They literally don't have crimes. People don't commit crimes.
Yeah, I don't want to get my arms chopped off and get my hands chopped off.
So, as are you saying, religion is the answer.
No, I'm saying we're supposed to have our look. I don't care what you believe or what anyone believes, but our society is supposed to be based on Judeo-Christian ethics and law, and it keeps society. I mean, people like to read the Bible and think that it's talking about, oh, God says do this, God says do that, and all the rest of it. No, most of it is, in my humble opinion, a collection of what society has learnt over the eons is the best thing for society to survive. And look, everybody does things fucking wrong, but you can't have it being acceptable in society. Like people lie to each other, steal from each other, and they get away with it every day of the week. But occasionally someone is caught and they're held accountable and they've got to go pay the punishment, and so be it, because you have to keep your society at a extremely high level of what's acceptable or not. Otherwise, we end up going down the track where we're going now, where everybody's fucking crazy, they think they're a minority, hard done by victimhood mentality, and what they're right. Everybody turns.
Well,
yeah,
here,
at the cost of the rest of us.
Yes.
To Az's point, here we now have, just in this past month, I can rattle off, you had illegals attacking National Guard, attacking police officers, and they're let out with no bond, no charges, no nothing. You literally had 4 people that chopped 2 people up and spread their body parts all across the goddamn state. And guess what? They let them out the next day with no bond. You had a guy 2 places here now that they don't see in the news beyond the Lake and Riley thing. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, where you had somebody who was let out who had already been charged with assault and battery up to threatening somebody with murder, who turned around and murdered a woman. Guess what? Let out the next day without charge. And people think, oh, well, that's progressive in society. No, it's not. It's the fucking destruction of society.
It's the downfall of society.
It's normal here too, Robert. It's normal here too.
Yeah, and I literally, where I live, I can drive a half an hour away and they're chanting death to fucking America.
Yeah.
They're trying to say, well, what about freedom of speech? So you're going to undermine the very fucking country and the values that give you the ability to have the freedom from the shitholes you got from the shitholes you left from. But you're going to undermine that over a fucking religion?
Yeah, look at what happened to that priest and the 4 or 5 other people in Sydney in the church. He fucking killed him with saying Allahu Akbar, and he was not an unknown person as well. He was in charge for knife attacks and violence before, but he's walking around and killing 6 people.
And you have the prime minister coming on telling Elon Musk, to be specific, to take it off their platform because it's misinformation. So you literally have the leadership of the country trying to hide the ills of society for the shit they fomented.
And Robert, not only are they telling Elon to shut the fuck up, you've got no free speech, but it's also Anzac Day here, where we're celebrating all our veterans who have died for our freedom.
Imagine that. Holy crap.
By the way, the Cybertruck is a load of crap. Anyway, let's move on.
Well, I'm not speaking of Elon when it comes to a business sense. What I'm speaking of is what our leadership is doing. And it isn't exclusive to any one country. So don't anybody think I'm attacking any one country. I'm not. It's not exclusive to that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is we now have leadership who are fomenting this shit to allow to be going on. And then when you try to get the information out there or you try to speak up, they're being told to shut the fuck up. You know, you can have people out protesting for the right reasons and they'll jail them. But if you go through and you have a bunch of shit go through that's basically, like Uwe says, or like we have going on in colleges where they're chanting death to your country or death to the capitalists or whatever and shit like that. And what they don't understand is the very places that give them the freedom to do that from the crap holes they run from, and then they want to turn it into the very same crap hole they came from. And our politicians are abridging that to happen.
I typed it in chat earlier. The modern corruption is not sending money from one bank account to the other or giving somebody cash. The modern corruption is the NGOs. That is what the modern corruption is, and they're using taxpayers' money for that fucking system. You know, you have, let's say, you have NGOs here. They are related to parts of our government or the leader of the parties, and they're organizing the illegal immigration from Africa to Europe. You know, it's the refugees, wherever they come from. If they get on a freaking rubber boat in Libya or Tunisia, wherever they go, and they are whatever 20 miles, 30 miles in front of the African coast, these refugees, they jumping in the water on purpose because there are boats down there, big boats. They are only there for picking these refugees up. And to save a refugee, what would that make sense? You bring him to the next closest land, right? Which would be Africa. But no, they travel them 150 miles over the fucking ocean, over the Mediterranean Sea, to Italy or Spain or Greece. That's what these NGO boats do. And they get founded by taxpayers' money. That's a fact. It's even proved. It was even in our parliament, the discussion. It was proved. But
I think it's all about money. They get more immigrants here, there are more jobs, more taxes. These bastards will get in their pockets because they're depleting the elderly people, whatever, because of the sea. They hit us, the less people. But yeah, you get a bunch of immigrants here with jobs, there's more taxes, and it's in their pockets.
Well, did you see, Mac, all across Mexico? Who was it? I can't remember. Ben Shapiro or that other guy from the Daily Wire.
Yeah,
all across Mexico, there's pamphlets everywhere for people who are migrating through to the American border, telling them all how to vote for Biden, why to vote for Biden, because if you don't get another 4 years, no one's going to be able to come across anymore. And this is all in. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars poured into fucking pamphlets spread all across fucking Mexico.
It's definitely backfired here in Chicago. I mean, there's so many people that are pissed off with this immigration that are taking over their park district buildings and their schools in bad neighborhoods. And these people are not playing. They are totally pissed off. They want these guys out. They closed a couple of buildings where the immigrants were at so far. I noticed, remember those mental facilities I said they're just nothing's happening to them? Guess what? They're putting them in these mental facilities now that they closed down, these immigration. Yep.
MacGyver, you're from Chicago, right?
You got it.
That's where all the house music came from. Big up.
Well, Detroit too. Yep.
I'm just saying.
Yep. But yeah, we all see it getting close. What do you call it? Clamping down on us. But I see that the Jays are pitting the Christians against the Muslims.
Well, that's all by design, though, Mac.
Yeah, it is. It is, Robert.
I mean,
nobody sees it.
Well, I don't want to get too personal, but
right.
Hear what's going on. Now, I'll give you, for instance.
It's just a for instance, folks.
This is personal from my part.
Right.
My wife got fired from her job over the phone.
Oh, shit. Really?
No, listen. She got fired from her job that she had for many years. And over the phone. And then was told in that very same phone conversation that she can take and sign up for the day labor thing. They'll fire her, but she can take and come in and do the day labor thing because in this community, in the state of Michigan, on top of what the federal is giving the illegals, the state is giving them $500 a month towards their rent. Plus, it's paying half their wages from 6 months to a year to any corporation that'll hire them. So the local communities and the workers, of course, all these fucking corporations They're all on board for it because they're going to rake in the bank while they fuck the people who work in these local communities.
Right. And sorry, the immigration, they came up here on false pretenses, thinking they're gonna have a new life, a new starting over, and being part of the American life, but it's not the case. They've been lied to, and they know it now, and they're really pissed. These immigration people.
Well,
I'm seeing them on the street corners right now with signs. Can you give us money? You know, at the intersections now.
Yeah, and that's the thing though, Mac. You know, I don't blame anybody wanting to come someplace else for a better life. I don't blame it all.
Right.
Do it the right way.
Right.
You know, no country can handle like here. Like I said, we've let in Australia into our country in the past 4 years. No economy can take that. And on top of it, our government's taken the very taxes we've paid into a system for the social systems and for our stuff that we've paid into, and taken away that from the communities through taxation, and taken out, fomenting the ability for these people to say, well, we're helping the immigrants and all this stuff when they're illegals. You can't take away from a local community, put somebody else on an upper hand that they're going to pay a lower wage to, and then the government's going to subsidize it on top of the people who paid the government in the first place. That's what they're doing.
All by a system, and
It's all corporate. It's all corporate control bullshit, Uva.
Yeah, and I don't know how we can stop their agenda.
I know how.
I don't have the.
We got to get everybody together on the same page, and that's going to be impossible.
Regain control of our governments and our local governments, and rescind corporate protections. Take away the corporate personhood, and guess what? Yep. They no longer have the power to do the shit they're doing.
Yep.
How can a business have the same rights as an individual?
And plus all the immunity of not actually being an individual. That's
exactly.
That's what.
You see a corporation go to fucking jail?
The CEO.
Nope. As I said earlier, you can rob a bank and go to prison, but if you rob a fucking country, they'll put you on a pedestal.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, and I don't understand how, to Aztec's point earlier, when it comes to the family unit, you have all these people coming from a personal point of view that they think that, oh, we're doing great things, we're helping all kinds of people, we're doing this, while they're fucking their own communities and societies.
Yeah. And in our neighborhood, there's a lot of murder-suicides where the guy lost his job or the wife lost her job. As they're not meeting, they're going to lose their nice house and everything, and murder-suicide.
Well, I'll tell you quite frankly, Mac, if it wasn't for the fact that me and my wife had zero debt, we would be absolutely fucked right now.
Right. And it's so hard on a couple, you know, being in the hole, struggling and losing everything that they worked hard for, and they don't see no end out of their tunnel, so they do that.
And on top of it, the governments are the ones fomenting this stuff by allowing, they say, well, we can't stop this. The fuck they can't. You know, I sat and watched yesterday a judge let off the people who attacked a bunch of National Guard in Texas. You can't tell me that judge did his civic responsibility by allowing and doing that. Oh, well, they didn't know what they're doing. Feel good, feel this out. Fuck that.
It's this wokeness, man. It's doing it. We got to get to the bottom of this wokeness bullshit.
Yeah.
And who's controlling the wokeness?
That's all part of the agenda in the whole Western world as well. You know, you see. Yeah. And then I can tell you what was officially said from our Minister of Inner Affairs. They want to get mind control on the children, even in childcare, when they are not even 2-3 years old, and want to freaking infiltrate them with their bullshit. Because she officially said the evil comes to the kids by the parents. The parents teach them racism and all that shit. That's what she said. And that's why they have to get control over the kids and control their mind in an early age that they don't get a bad person. That's what they told officially. And nobody is standing up and saying, "Wait a minute, what's going on here?" Nobody is getting what she's telling.
Yeah, that's way out of order.
Just-
That's why I say, Uwe, we're so far down the track that really it's time to just put some tinned food in the cupboard and just what. Because the thing is, Uwe, the end isn't going to happen in your lifetime. The end takes for fucking ever. We're probably like 50 years into the end. You know what I mean?
You're
But it's
doing
going to
it
take
slowly.
time. Yeah,
I
it doesn't
agree.
happen overnight.
You don't want to increase the stink.
Takes
You
at
know,
least 3 or
as
4 generations.
I used to think that way, but I think you're wrong. I really am of the mind with what they have going on in the Middle East and what they have going on in Ukraine. And the reason they keep pushing it so hard is because I do think they want to foment the next fucking world war.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Because
I see a hornet's nest opening up.
and I'll tell you what, I think that's going to happen a lot faster than what people think.
Oh, it's definitely. Well, I mean, come on, Iran's attacked Israel. This is biblical shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's about to happen.
Christians
There's
against
no
the
doubt
Muslims.
there.
I
So
wouldn't
you
be.
think the apocalypse is coming soon, right?
No,
I
I
just
don't
don't know
think
which way
apocalypse
Russia
coming.
and China are going to go.
I think another world war is coming, and I think those who are in control want it to happen.
There
Bring
can't
back
be
the,
another world war. There can't be. There can be conflicts between borders. If
Too
there's
many
one
nukes.
war, there's that's the only way that the world's going to end. There is no more. There's Ukraine, Russia, there's the Gaza Strip and all that business. That's border to border, soft missiles. If the big red button's pushed, that's the end. And you reckon
They don't
that's coming?
They don't have to have a big red button, Andy. How many people have fucking died in the Ukraine?
No, my point is saying that there's a war to end wars. That's the end of civilization as we know it. There's a war to end wars.
Nobody will hit the red button. I can guarantee
If
that.
you-
Oh no!
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
If we were going to go after Kim Jong-il, right? You sure? Yeah, I think he might push his button there because he's just a small little thing. And it's like, this is why I've got my weapons here because you guys can't pick on me. Because you guys pick, I'm going to push the red button.
Can I swear for a moment? That guy from North Korea, he's a fucker.
Yes.
Yeah. If I had my sight on him, I would shoot him if I had him in my sights and have no remorse about my next life. No remorse at all.
Right. But all the stuff you heard about him was from the media. Did you actually go and visit the guy, talk to him, see how things are?
Yeah, your media.
The last time we had lunch.
That guy killed his brother when he was a kid. But he's not that stupid that he will hit that red button. Nobody will do that,
No, I agree. I agree with you. I agree. No one's going to.
Hold on. I hate to be the thorn in people's side here, but you know what? You got suicide bombers every fucking day that are more than willing to take and strap shit on, walk into a place and blow up a bunch of fucking innocent people.
Yep.
Yeah, but they ain't
So
got
don't tell me they won't push the little red button because you get the right nut job in the right place. Oh, they certainly will.
The guys in charge of the red button are just letting.
Or they threaten their family if you don't do it.
No. Here, the guys with the red button are letting the cannon fodder go for it to spread their agenda. They won't.
I agree with you on that. That's why I said the world war, when you're talking about nuclear, it doesn't have to be nuclear. People in every country are more than willing to send their fucking young to go and die for agendas that they aren't in their own makings.
That's bullshit.
So it's all back to the family unit. The family unit is.
They broke apart the family unit. They broke apart the family unit.
Yeah, in Asia, the family unit is so strong you wouldn't believe.
Yep.
Yes, I agree. It's the same in South America. It's the same even in Southern Europe. But
correct.
If it comes to the point of letting yourself control, they all went in and got their fucking jab because they're scared. That's the next point. You know, yeah, they all the families are big united and they stick together and whatever. But all the Asians, all Europe, everybody, instead of Africa, went in and took their fucking needle. You know, that is the reality. You
That
know,
just proved
that
one
is
thing,
absolute
Uwe.
reality.
Yep.
That just proved one thing. If you have the right crisis, you're going to get 75 to 80% of the population doing what they're told.
Following.
Because you'll scare them to fucking death.
Yep.
And they'll fall right in line.
Exactly. You know.
Well, around here, there's no kids in the street. There's no kids at the mall. There's no groups of kids anymore. They're all staying at home practically.
I understand everybody who took it because was
They're
threatened
forced.
to lose the job, whatever. But if somebody took it to go to the gym or to go for holidays or whatever, honestly, I can't help that. But that person, I can't help. And yeah, I think you can't fix that brain. If somebody takes the needle for going on holidays, no, I
I'm
don't
still
have
jab free.
any breath.
But Uwe, you have to understand. Everybody across the world was sold a lie.
Yes.
And unfortunately, many people didn't know how to discern truth from lies. Even to this day, many people don't know how to discern the truth from lies about all this shit that went on.
I know that, Robert. I know that. But even those people who were not listening to other sources than the mainstream media should at least after 2 years, when there was even on the mainstream media a lot of stuff going on, that it's really obvious for anybody that it can't work, they still went in and got the fourth, the fifth, the sixth shot, you know. But you can't help these people, Robert. There's no help at all for those people. No at all.
But to your point, there's a documentary out there called The Power of Nightmares. And when it comes to social influence and how governments work, it's very astute in pointing out how all this stuff become fomented. And I myself personally, in my opinion, what they did there was showed how quickly they can get society to bend a knee and literally cohesive behind one idea that was based upon a lie, and shoot down and ostracize the part of society that was trying to warn them, hey, something's effed up.
Yep.
And it worked perfectly. The only thing is now is hopefully enough people recognize that what happened is going to be the template that they use for the next bullshit they try to sell.
Yeah, but you know, that's the next point. They are waking up, Robert, and they will not get along with the WHO treaty and all that shit. The Netherlands parliament voted against it. Louisiana said, fuck off, you can't do anything here. And I can guarantee you, man, when they have their meeting at the end of November, I guarantee you that will end in a disaster for them. I guarantee you that. It will end in a disaster. And it will be interesting how the mainstream media will fucking sell that to the public. That will be interesting.
Yeah, but what they'll do,
if it comes to that point, Tedros, he's a fucking criminal. He's a murder, man. And it's absolutely insane that fucker is in fucking president or whatever it's called of the WHO. He's a fucking murder.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I will say this, Uwe. The thing is, they're going to predominantly hit all of the countries who are the bigger countries, who their politicians are going to pass through all these treaties and shit that people don't understand what's in them. They have no idea what kind of control is being given over to the WF and the WHO and the UN. They have no idea. It's basically going to end the sovereignty of any one nation. And all these little countries whom are trying to abstain from it, they'll just ostracize them from the corporate business world, and they'll have to fall in line, or the economies will be fucking crushed. They won't have a choice, guaranteed. We are literally in a fight for the way of life in the Western world. I'll tell you that straight up. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind at all about that any longer. They've used the template as to the way that the Chinese rule their country, and that's what they want across the planet. The only difference is the leadership of China don't understand that they're going to shove it up their ass as well, because those in control want to control the world. not just any one country. And if people can't see that by now, I don't know what to tell them. This has been a long time coming. Over 100 years, this has been coming.
This is more than this is centuries going on, not 100 years or 120 years. This is for centuries going on.
Yeah,
but it got way easier and let's say better to control by them with the industrialization and with the media coming up, with telephone and whatever came. It got easier and easier for them to take over the control of the fucking entire world. And they made it so slow that nobody was paying attention on it until they lost their nerves and they started this bullshit in 2019 with the pandemic. That was the thing. They lost the nerves, man. They just forced it, and they think they have to push it just in a hurry now. And that's what.
Well, look at this, Uwe. You had the trucker convoy in Canada. You had all the protests from the farmers across Europe. You had all of the Australia went full on authoritarian. They were literally locking people up and beating them in the streets for just fucking walking out their front door.
Yeah.
And now you have these very same governments across the world telling anybody that speaks up, hey, shut the fuck up, to include billionaires. And if people think any one person is going to have a chance against the machine that's been created, they're a fool. But the problem is, you have people who unite behind one idea or one thing when it's across the whole of Western nation. If we don't stand up unified in our way of life, it's going to be fucking gone. And we will never.
Yeah, but Robert, how we can stand up? The only way we can do is get a group of people together and get them all on the same page, and that's going to be nearly impossible. We need to stop going to Walmart and stop shopping at Amazon to show these bastards that we need business. But how are we going to do that?
It would be easy. It would be really easy if everybody, and I'm talking about everybody, or let's say even only 70%, would just lay off and would not go to work anymore. Tomorrow you stay home. You don't go working. You don't go shopping. You do nothing. And I can tell you, it doesn't take a week, and this whole world is fucked. Guarantee you. But it will not. It's not based on any facts anymore. Everything is based on ideological bullshit. If it's the climate, if it's the freaking woke queer fucking bullshit, everything is based on bullshit and ideology, and nothing on facts or anything. And that's what the people still just accept. They just get along with it, and that is the problem. They bring all that shit even in the education system, that man can give birth and all that bullshit. What the fuck, man?
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you something too, Uwe. I can tell you what the quote unquote upper echelon of the elites are thinking right now. With the advent of AI and the way that's going, with the advent of the way they're seeing robotics go, and I'm not talking robotics in a foundry. They're almost to the point now where they can build fake humans. The only difference is the fake humans, you don't have to feed them, you don't have to pay them, and when they wear out, you just take and send them back to the recycling center and build another one.
Yeah.
And once that becomes perfected, which is a lot closer than what people think, that's when I think you'll see right quick how quickly they're going to decimate society as it is. Mark my words.
West world and future world. Fucking 50-year-old movies, man. But they come
and the thing is, people say, "Oh no, that's all conspiracy theory. That's pie in the sky." Yeah, okay, watch what happens.
It's the opposite way. Everybody is fancy about the free AI stuff they can download. Oh, let's do this. We can make that. We can do this. Look, I can make myself looking like this and whatever. Everybody's so excited. Oh, look how fine it is. Yeah, sure. It's like everything. You can make your fun with it, but don't see the danger of all that bullshit. There's maybe people they don't make fun with it and creating some music, whatever, or do this, do that. Think about how fucking criminals gonna deal with that, you know?
Think how governments are going to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we know that every fucking news, whatever show on the TV, is still made by humans? Do you know that there's always sitting a human person in there? Nobody knows, I guess.
I'll tell you, quite frankly, just the other day, me and my wife were watching the news, and I swear to God, I would bet my left fucking nut on this that what I was watching was AI generated. I don't think it was a real person. I really don't. You know, that's the thing. We're at the point now where you almost can't believe what you hear. And you certainly at almost to the point to where you can't even believe what you see. You know, what happens then? How do you discern truth from lies when they can create a false world that looks just as real to people when they watch the idiot box?
Yeah.
About what's really going on.
Look what happened on the beginning of the Ukraine war. They were showing in the news, showing parts of Star Wars scenes in there. They were showing jets flying over from Beirut from fucking 10, 15 years ago and all that shit, and bringing it in the news and bringing people to fucking believe that shit. Or the freaking tank they shot on the autobahn, they're on the highway. It's insane, and people buy that bullshit with not even using their own brain. You know.
Well,
90% of all the people have seen Star Wars, and they know how this fucking shit looks. They don't give a fuck. They believe it. You know.
Well, but the thing is, you don't have to have all of society believe it, Uva. You just have the right parts of society and keep people wondering what's real and what's not, and people will fall in line and believe it, hook, line, and sinker.
You know, there's a saying that says, the more often you repeat the lie, the easier it is for the majority to believe it. You know, and that's fucking true.
There's also another saying, Uva. It's easier to lie to somebody than it is to prove to them that they've been lied to.
Yeah, that's another good thing. Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, if you said, I actually had this discussion with somebody about psychology just a day or so ago. And even if you know something that's a lie, you've been told it so many times, and it's been repeated so many times in the news and online and in propaganda, that even though you know it's a lie, you still have a visceral reaction to it. You know, it's like people's unrealistic hatred of Donald Trump. Even though they know much of what they've been told are lies, they still have a visceral reaction to it, a fear. That's because it's been ingrained in them. And it's the easiest human emotion to control is fear.
Yeah, but in the point of Trump, there's a lot of, or let's say the majority of it, is that it's his behaving, his arrogant behaving in public, and how he talks about women and stuff like that.
Yeah, but hold on, Uva. Hold on, Uva. Tell me how that's any different than what we've seen in past leadership. The things that he's been told about, like, for example, the shit they got going on in New York, they're trying to say that, well, he paid a porn star hush money. Okay, well, our own Congress has a slush fund to pay off interns that they take and videotaped gay porn videos right on the congressional floor. But yet they're going after Trump for paying supposed hush money. And now it's coming out that Cohen and Daniels were actually extorting Trump. See, that's the thing. It's very easy to get people to be perceived one thing until the truth comes out. And the problem is that, as the saying goes, a lie will cross the world in minutes. The truth will take forever.
It's true.
And it's very hard to get people to understand that.
You can pick so many examples out of history about, let's say, from the Second World War, when everybody blamed the Germans to eliminate or execute hundreds of Polish officers from the military, until I think in the late 80s or early 80s, when secret documents out of the Kremlin came up and proved that it was the Russians who killed all these Polish officers and not the Germans.
Oh, imagine that.
And and there's so many things, and that's why I said it doesn't matter how much get exposed of all this pandemic shit. In the lifetime of these people, nothing will happen to them. As long as they are alive, nothing gonna happen. They don't bring everything up until nobody can get charged anymore. Trust me, nobody. And if they find some victim, like a low person, politician, whatever, yes, give them some food for the media. We arrest this guy and we arrest that guy, and the big guys, they all get along, like Fauci and whatever you want to name them. Nothing gonna happen to them. Zero. Nothing.
Well, that's the thing. Even when it comes to, if you want to talk about the political side, when it comes to what's going on in politics, or if you want to talk about what happened in the past 4 years, knowing what's going on is simple as going. And for example, with Fauci, you can go and look at the emergency authorization, look at their very own documents that they tried to cover up for 75 years, and go read them. But people, even when they're showed the truth, don't want to believe what they're reading. And that's right from the authorization. I mean, me and Kennedy, you need to know, me and Brian, we went through over 4,000 pages of shit. And you wouldn't believe the crap that's in there. And how this shit really got released upon the world.
Let's pick one current situation, like from whatever, how long is it? 8, 9 months, when that stuff from California came up with that laboratory. What is going on there? Zero, nothing. You don't even hear that governor. You don't even hear them talking anymore.
Nope, you don't hear a damn word about it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get covered up.
Last night came out with an absolute banger when he said we were.
Somebody's got something in the background.
Not me.
But anyways,
the same people who control the world, they control the media, they control every government, they control everything, and that's why it's possible for them to cover everything up.
Well, what's worse, Uwe, as I said before, this has already been proven from a psychological standpoint, that when people are told a lie enough, even when they know it's a lie, they will still have a visceral reaction to it. That's why.
So my wife doesn't love me then. Sorry.
People will still have a visceral reaction to it, Uwe.
Yep. That's what it is. Another good example is all these fires last year in Canada. Whoever believes that there is a possibility that a fire gets accidentally fired up by a little piece of glass on the ground, whatever. Yes, it's possible. It's a possibility of having thousands of fires at the same time in a country. Come on, how fucking stupid you have to be to believe that bullshit, honestly.
But there's people too busy working to really buckle down and wake up until it's too late.
Yeah, and some people just want to believe the bullshit just because it's easier. They don't have to think about on their own mind. Just believe the shit and go away, Yeah, I'm fine. I'm going to my job every morning, come home, get my meal, watch some TV shit. Yeah, get to holidays.
Back to work, do it again.
I'm fine. Like fucking what was it called?
Ostrich, head in the sand.
No, the movie with Bill Murray.
Oh, Groundhog Day.
Yeah, you know. So that's just to say, that's just a fact. Good morning, Vietnam. You know.
Well,
So
here's another one, Uva. As it stands now, they're letting people out literally who attack police officers or to the point of murder, letting them out without bail. But yet, if I go out and misgender somebody, I can be put in jail for 10 years.
yeah.
Just for misgendering somebody, for telling a dude that he's a fucking dude.
Well, we definitely know they're keeping the violence going here. I had a customer, a service call over east, say they're dropping 1 foot by 1 foot crates of handguns in the alleys. And I didn't think it was true or nothing. But about 2 weeks later, I was about maybe a mile away from this other place, and this family said the same thing too, that they're putting crates of guns in the alleys, unmarked guns. So they're portraying as violence.
I'll tell you another thing too there, Mac. Back when, you remember when all the stuff was going on in Portland and Washington, Minnesota?
Yeah.
Antifa come up here, and they were going to protest in a small town north of me by about 45 minutes.
Right.
The sheriff deputized about 100 people instantly and posted them up and told them if they as much as touch a doorknob, they're going to smoke them. But here's the thing.
What happened to him?
When it was all said and done, they found 4 pallets of bricks that were distributed all across the town, and nobody knows how they got there.
Those bricks were all over the place. I remember the news report.
In Chicago, they braced a bitch about those bricks.
Yep. They had planned to take and pull something in the community up there that if it hadn't been for the sheriff reacting, and literally he deputized people that day, post them up on buildings and said, you touch a doorknob and we're going to smoke you.
Yep.
That's another thing. The Antifa is a government-paid organization worldwide, and they get also founded by these billionaires as well. You know, that's a fact that's proven. You know, it's proven.
Now, when these riots were coming down 95th Street in Chicago towards the suburbs, I mean, people heard on the police scanners that the police of Chicago were told to stand down. But when these rioters got to the suburbs border, boom, the suburban cop put a slam down on that, and then the rioting stopped. Because the Chicago don't control the suburban cops.
Okay, guys, I'm going to call it a close now. I think everybody's had their say, and it's been a great debate. I'd like to thank Robert and Uwe, and of course MacGyver.
You guys stay online. Have you shut it down?
Well, I can, but there's nobody in control of the.
No, I have to make some lunch anyway, so I'm going to get
I need to step out myself. So.
Some lunch.
So no, I would just like to thank you for all your. It was a great debate. Loved it. It was really,
thanks for having me
really intriguing.
Good to talk to you again. It's been a while.
Yeah, nice talking to everybody here. I see Robert again.
So I'd just like to say thank you to you guys. Thanks for contributing, because it was a great discussion. Loved it.
Yeah.
All right. You have a good one, Andy. Matt, Uva. I'll talk to you guys.
Take care of yourselves.
Later.
Yeah. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, take care. Okay.